energy. This is the final round of an amazing year. We have our drivers' champion, but it's all to play for in the team's championship here in Argentina. For a second year, we conclude the season in Rosario. It's a hotbed of Argentinian motorsport, and expect some of that Latin passion to spill onto the track, as all the championship positions will be concluded here. Matias Ekstrom went to Estering last round knowing that just a few more points would do it, but World RX life is never that easy. As the event moved through its various stages, the contenders for the title ebbed away. Come the final, Johan Kristoffersen, second in the championship, punctured, meaning it was down to Petter Solberg, who sat second on track and needed a victory to stop Ekstrom taking his crown. With 2 laps remaining, everybody held their breath. Come the flag, Solberg was still second, and never has a 5th place felt so good as Matias Ekstrom became the FIA World Rallycross champion.
I always dreamt of something like this, but to do it the way we have done it now over the last 3 years, build up your own team and try to win with respect and try to really do something new for the sport, and for sure it's a very special moment.
Go and celebrate it with everyone. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It was a sweet day for Ekstrom and the team he created. 0 to world champion in just 857 days.
When I crossed the line, I was just really disappointed because I thought it would not be enough. I think it was Emil, my spotter, said, "You're a world champion." And I said, "Are you sure?" Because in my world, I were not. And then I realized that we are. But then it was such a weird feeling going from being so disappointed to being happy, and the adrenaline is still there, and then it takes another couple of seconds, and then the emotional is just coming to me. I mean, when we started the project was to become world champions, and every single team individual knows that. Goes from the cook to the mechanic to the engineers to our media guys. They all know why we're here. Next step, I mean, we want to win again.
Now, rewind to the start of the final, and we witnessed one of the greatest moves in World Rallycross history. This incredible pass won Kevin Eriksson his first World Championship race and sealed his place in Rallycross folklore.
My plan was to go for it on the outside. I decided already at the pre-grid to try to go for it. I mean, Estering first corner, it's famous to be tight and rough, so I decided it doesn't matter if I will stand, in the sand 6th, or if I'm, if it works. And this time it worked, and it was just an awesome maneuver. I was, just happy to get my first World RX win. I mean, I didn't really think so much about that first corner move until a couple of days after, when I got calls from Colombia, USA, New Zealand. It was just all over the place, so really a viral hit.
Well, Ekstrom sits proudly at the top of the table, but the battle for second will go all the way in Argentina. Anybody down to Sebastian Loeb can take it, but it's tight. Just 11 points cover Solberg in second to Backerud in 4th. It's a straight fight in the team's championship between EKS drivers Matias Ekstrom and Topi Heikkinen, and Peugeot Hansen's Timmy Hansen and Sebastian Loeb. 56 points are on offer, and with just a 17-point gap, teamwork will be the key in Argentina.
We have a small lead with 17 points. You can say it's a gap, but it's not enough to go here and only put the sun cream and sunglasses on. So it means we have to go out and work hard for 2 days.
We are 70 points behind, so we need to score some very good points if we want to have a chance to win this title. So for that we will have to fight hard. Maybe try not to fight too hard both together in the first corner, because we start the first hit side by side. But then to be intelligent together but to go fast and push hard.
There is the 2 fast guys on this team also, the Hansen's team, and also they're fighting for us. It's a big fight between us, and we try to scare much as points as possible. And Matti has been getting the deal already, and now we're just scaring points.
To lift the trophy as team world champions was an amazing feeling. Like, something that you work for all year, and it's something special about it being a team's championship, because it's not one car, it's really the whole crew.
I think so far, if you only look on the teamwork, we deserve to be team champions for that reason. But in this sport, it doesn't matter how you feel or what you deserve, it's how many points you have. So this weekend is all to try to get those maximum points.
Here's the track preview presented by Ion Cameras. Rosario in Argentina, the host of the final round of the 2016 FIA World Rallycross Championship. A circuit just over a kilometre long with a tricky joker lap right at the end of the lap. We saw problems for people there last year. We're going to ride on board with Yannis Belmanis. He releases the handbrake and pulls gears. Look how fast the run is to turn one. Through the right-hander, over the dirt that gets dragged on from the last corner, and then braking down for the first of the chicanes. Into the right, he'll try and hook a wheel on the curb on the left-hand side, and then it's on the gas. Through the right-hander again, struggling for grip because they've been wetting the gravel to kill the dust, which we had problems with last year. On the brakes and into the right, it drops away here. Into the long right-hander, and Belmanis with a little bit of handbrake there to bring the car back in tight as we head up towards the end of the lap. The standard lap goes left and the joker lap goes right. Belmanis splits right, bangs the car down through the box. It's a series of 90 rights and 90 lefts, off camber, into the last right-hander, and then it's onto the dirt, trying to find traction and across the finish line. Coming up, we've got highlights of the action from qualifying 1 and 2, the best of the action from qualifying 3, Q4, and the pressure grows as we find out who makes the top 12 cut. Then it's the World RX Supercar Semi-Finals live, and we finish with the one that really matters, the World RX Supercar Final. Q1 started on an already wet track, but the weather was looking ominous for the rest of the day. Conditions were tricky for everyone, but outgoing world champion Solberg was making it look easy. Using every car control trick in the book, Solberg set a stunning time that would be the target for everyone else to hit. Andreas Backer got the whole shot in his first race of the day on the unique Argentinian banking, but his lead didn't last long. Caught out on the second super greasy gravel section, the Norwegian ran wide and allowed Ekstrom to sneak up the inside for the lead. Ekstrom gapped the field quickly, but couldn't match the pace of Solberg. On to race 3, and the heavens opened again. Kristoffersson led from the start and drove a brilliant race in incredibly heavy rain, but understandably couldn't get near the lap times of the previous runs. The rain eased a little for the final race of Q1, but the track was already inundated with standing water, making Ken Block's first corner move all the more impressive. Using the banking to full effect, the American passed the field around the outside and held the lead onto the gravel. Loeb clipped tyre bales as he fought with Eriksson, who himself was having a massive fight with the car, just trying to stay on the track. Out front, a mistake from Block saw Heikkinen close the gap, but on the final lap, Toppy ran wide on the run to the finish and was forced into a second joker lap, leaving Block to take the flag and P6 in Q1, a good result considering the conditions. Thunder, lightning and torrential rain meant the running on track was suspended for safety reasons. On to Q2 on Sunday. For the first time ever, thanks to those terrible weather conditions yesterday, Timmy Hansen in an early heat lost out at the start and then was caught behind Eriksson and Scheider, who did battle. Scheider gave Eriksson a tiny tap, that put Eriksson on the dirt, and Scheider went on to take the win with a decent time. Sebastian Loeb on the outside in the Peugeot got a better start than his teammate Timmy Hansen. Down at the first corner, Reinis Nitish had got the better of him. Remember, Nitish here this weekend in the OMSE car instead of Gronholm. But by the end of the race, Loeb had managed to get out front. That fantastic car control from his WRC days, serving him well in the slippery conditions. A win for Sebastian. Race 3 and the first 5-car lineup, and that meant contact on the way down to turn 1. On the inside, Ken Block tapping into the side of Markland. Everybody in the side of everybody as they came down to the chicane. Heikkinen hit Timos Yarnov. On the inside, Markland trying to find some grip by hooking the curb, and you can see what happens if you don't. Ken Block out on the slippery stuff, just couldn't find any grip. Timmer went on to take the checkered flag. Last race of Q2, and again it was a big squeeze. Watch this from the front. Contact the whole way across the 5 cars. Baumanis lost out down at the first corner. And then there was contact again, backward into the back of Christopherson, into the back of Ekstrom. Ekstrom got out on the dirt that Ken Block was in. That put him right down at the back of the field, and it left Petter Solberg, the outgoing world champion, to show us just why he's held those 3 world titles. A fantastic display of car control from him. Little mistake there from Christopherson. Petter came around the right hand up. He went on to take the checkered flag. It was a win for him in both Q1 and Q2, and that sees him top after the second qualifier. Of course, that would normally be overnight, but not here in Argentina, thanks to the change in schedule. 2 more qualifiers to come today. Solberg top with 100 points and 2 wins from Ekstrom, the current champion, just behind the outgoing champion. Backer, Christopherson, Loeb, Timosyanov, Baumanis and Nitish are your top 8. Markland, Scheider, Heikkinen and Munich. The big news is Timmy Hansen is not in the semis.
Well, we're here at the World RX Team Austria, and there's a lot of work going on the cars. Here's Timmer Timosyanov. Timmer, talk us through that qualifying 2 session. Circuit out there.
Yeah, the circuit is going better and better after yesterday's storm. Today we have a good start, and I was leading all the heat. My time is not so good. I was 5th on the overall, but I think this is a track condition. It's a little bit changing every time, but still some places are really slippery on the track. You really need to be careful. And yeah, the track is going better and better. We have no problems with this.
And you're currently in 6th overall after Q2, but normally you'd have an entire night to re-prepare the car ready for Q3, but this has to happen like in an hour. What's the challenge for the engineers around you?
Yeah, for the engineers is the main thing, that to find a good solution for the track, because we are staying here and the track is there and we don't know what's changing now, because the guys is the track better and better now. I'm happy that I'm driving in the last heat. Normally it needs to be we will see what's happened, but the engineers is working, they're doing their job, I'm doing my job on the track.
Talk us through what you can learn from the developing track. Like, are there some sections where you're just going incredibly slow?
Yeah, because this one is a really nice place to do this one, because it's really slippery, slow corners, really long gravel section with actually sideways driving, long straights, braking on the tarmac. This track is taking everything what we can, and it's teaching us how to drive.
Good luck in the rest of it. Thanks, Timmer. Let's see if we can grab a word with Yannis Baumanis. Just almost got knocked over by a sump guard there. He should be back here looking through his engineer. Oh, there he is. Yannis, great to see you. You were looking really intensely at the map of the circuit and some data just before. Tell us what you were looking at.
To find some regulations for the car.
And were you happy with that? Because you're currently in 7th, which is good for the team.
Yeah, definitely for team it's very good, and I'm quite happy with the performance of so far for this race. And but now we are a little bit struggling with the driving in gravel corners, so we try to find the best setup for that.
Try and explain to us what it feels like when you have to just brake for those slippery gravel corners.
You just turn it and wait for the exit. So no, it's very slippery. You have to be very carefully with these 600 horsepower on the gravel section, because you little bit push the throttle and turn to the right, and it immediately comes to oversteer. So you have to be very precise to do it correctly.
And just quickly, this is obviously the last event of the season. How important would it be for you to get a good result, maybe even a podium?
That's always my aim, to get the best result as possible, so I'm ready for it.
Good luck in Q3.
Thank you.
Well, here's how they stand ahead of Q3. Top of the table, Petter Solberg with 2 wins. Ekstrom, Backer, Christopherson, Loeb, Timosyanov, Baumanis and Nitish, the Latvians together inside the top 8. Anton Markland, Timo Scheider, Topi Heikkinen and Rennie Munich are currently inside the top 12. Crucially, Timmy Hansen is down in 15th, not having a very good weekend at all. My name's Andrew Coley. Joining me on commentary this weekend, we have a World RX winner in Tanner Faust, and reporting from the paddock, as always, Neil Cole. Well, this was how it went early on in Q3. The track was drying, That was Kevin Eriksson with a big old pendulum down at turn 1. Not exactly what he wanted. Timmy Hansen was untidy for the first couple of laps, but set a pretty decent time, taking the checkered flag. On to race 2, and it was Anton Markland who got the best of the start, shutting the door on Yannis Baumanis behind him. Larson went high on the banking and then went low into turn 2, hooked it up over the inside of the curb and made a great pass on Markland down into second place. Markland clipping the tyre bales, the dust was starting to come up, and Markland then ran wide. We thought that had cost him, but on the last lap, Baumanis made a mistake himself, and he managed to get the place back. Larson, last year's winner, on a flyer. Q3, race 3 on the line. 5 cars ready to battle it out down towards turn 1. Scheider on the inside with Nitish, Kristoffersson, Rennie Munich, and Topi Heikkinen. Good job so far for Rennie Munich, it has to be said. He's up there in P12, which I think would be his best result of the season. Scheider as well, continuing to learn rallycross and continuing to enjoy himself. Is he going to enjoy this one? Is he going to get squeezed on the inside? Look for Kristoffersson in the middle as well, currently P4. Oh, very nearly a jump start from Nitish, was it? It looks as though Scheider has, so we've got a jump start. I was looking down at the little levers, you can see it underneath the front splitter of Scheider's car. Was it him that moved forward? It looked like it was Nitish that went first, Tanner, but Topi, they're saying Topi for the jump start.
Really? I saw Nitish move, but maybe he was reacting to a car in his peripheral vision.
Interesting. Okay, so, and that's what I thought, you know, did Topi go because he'd seen someone else go? So there's 2 ways this will go. They'll either say it was an incorrect start, but it doesn't look like they are because they're taking the 2 times Joker board across to Topi Heikkinen. So that's not ideal. Where is Topi? Topi is P11 and really needs to make it through to the semi-finals. At the minute, of course, EKS have got the advantage that Timmy Hansen hasn't done so well. Let's have a look at the replay of the jump start. Look for Topi Heikkinen nearest us. Oh, yeah. He does. Super unlucky. It crept twice, didn't it? And then when the clutch gets to that point, it's hard to hold it back.
Honestly, it's a massive amount of power, and you're slipping the clutch to preload on the handbrake. It's so easy for that clutch to instantly heat up, grab just a little bit, and lunge the car forward a few feet.
Oh, disappointing for Topi. So different tactics for him now than with a double Joker. Look for the ready to race light up at the top corner of your screen. What will Topi do? Can he preload the car if it's already got a hot clutch? Watch for the rear end of it squatting down. Not quite so much as normal. Still gets away well though. Very tidy start from everyone. Nitish looks to eventually get on the run down towards turn 1. Gives Kristoffersson a little clout, puts Kristoffersson wide. Scheider slots in behind Kristoffersson, might lose out here, but manages to close the door. Great job, Johan Kristoffersson, to get into P2. Reinis Nitish hooks it up over the top, but behind him, Kristoffersson does an even better job of that. Really tidy start by everyone.
Really an amazing job by Kristoffersson and his spotter as he goes for the move. That's not going to work out for him. An amazing move by Kristoffersson and his spotter to squeeze into just 1 car length gap between the first and second car to really close the door on Munich.
You think they might have given him a call from there, Tanner, and say, look, you're clear, shut the door? Because it's one of those occasions where you really could do with that.
He was just in the worst situation possible going into the outside of the first corner, and the fact that his spotter maybe just happened to see a spot open up for him, or he just took the chance. He shoved it in there and it worked. Either
way, nicely done. Nitish made a mistake on that first lap, ran out deep into the gravel that we saw Markland in an earlier race, but he managed to hold on to Kristoffersson. Kristoffersson was about 3/4 of the way up the upside, in the inside as well. Kristoffersson continuing to pile the pressure on, dives on the brakes and turns the car in. And there's a real drop there as they come onto the gravel section too, which can force it wide.
They really can, and you can see the Volkswagen's working pretty well. Kristoffersson does a lot of road racing, very tidy. He's gonna, and he's got a great amount of racecraft experience in really setting up a path for somebody in front of him here. He takes a break, gets some free run, so he's going to try to use some quick laps to try to maybe take the lead here from Nitish.
He almost had to check up, didn't he, behind Nitish, coming out of the right-hander, you know, more than, I mean, here we can see left foot brake to change direction, but Topi there as well, trying to dive around the outside of Kristoffersson. But he was trying to change direction, then disappeared off into the Joker lap instead. So Kristoffersson and Munich have both jokered. Heikkinen, of course, has done 1 joker, which is why we've got an X remaining up there on the screen. He is so tight up behind Kristoffersson, so Heikkinen looks like he's got good pace, and he has. There we go.
He does, and so he'll take a joker a second time here for sure to get away from the Volkswagen. And there he dives in.
So into the joker for the second time, Topi Heikkinen will be hoping to come out in front of Rennie Munich on the outside, but I don't think he's going to. On to the last lap, Munich comes out and tries to shut the door on Heikkinen. There we go, Heikkinen on the back of the train now, but the only people not to have jokered are the two out front, Reinis Nitish and Timo Scheider. So we think Kristoffersson jokered to get himself out from behind Nitish. We saw him check up on the brake and then split right. Has he had enough pace over these last couple of laps to close the gap down or not? What do you think, Tanner?
He's still running 2/10 slower a lap than Nitish, so he may not have closed the gap. We're going to find out right now, though, as the race is between Nitish and Kristoffersson coming to the line.
Nitish into the joke lap. It's got to be tidy. Kristoffersson super late and hard on the brakes. Nitish is going to turn it in. The teams think it's quick from there on the inside. It's going to be super close between them. Over the line, Kristoffersson just about gets it done. Lovely job by him. First overall, Kristoffersson, bottom right-hand corner of your screen, minus 1.7, shows that that was the gap. Flicks it around the cone and heading back to the paddock. Very, very tidy indeed. So Nitish may be slower on the Joker lap. There is the result, 2:52.7 from Reinis Nitish, Timo Scheider, Topi Heikkinen and Rennie Munich. There's where they slot into the top three faster than Timmy Hansen, and that is an indicator that maybe that time wasn't as good as Timmy was hoping. He desperately needs to drag himself back up into the semis. Another look at the start, Tanner.
Here, this is where Kristoffersson is wondering if he's completely stuck on the outside, how this is going to turn out. He dives in. This was what saved the entire race for him. Whether the spotter told him it was there or he just felt there was a gap, either way, he squeezed it in. It saved his entire qualifying heat.
Brave by him. This was the mistake for Nitish, which I thought was going to cost him. Kristoffersson looked like he got up the inside, but then didn't quite find it. Topi did well, I think, too, Joe, because, you know, he's always a big handicap, isn't it? We can see him coming out there at the rear of the field. Kristoffersson getting in front of him. That must have been after Topi's first Joker. And Nitish putting in good laps, but unfortunately just didn't get the job done when it came to the Joker. Kristoffersson just edged him on the drag race to the line.
Tommy for Johan, but do you think he was maybe slowed down a little bit by Reinis?
Maybe in the first lap, but we have to recover. We have a broken power steering in the first race, so this was a must for us to be in front on this team or in this race. And now we are currently P1 before the last run. So, but it was a must. It's tough up there, and we're going to fight Andreas and Petter for the medal. So it was a must, and we do it. So far so good.
Thank you. Well done.
Thank you.
Final race of Q3 rolls up to the line. Busy day for these guys, of course. 3 qualifying sessions in the one day thanks to the rain yesterday. And we're on to the very quick boys. Solberg on the inside from Loeb, Bakkerud, Ekstrom and Timosyanov. So could Timosyanov take that win that we thought he could have taken all season long? He's had a couple of absolutely cracking weekends. Got the outgoing world champion, the incoming world champion, a double winner in Bakkerud, Sebastian Loeb was the winner in Latvia. This is a fantastic lineup. Green light and away. Everybody very tight indeed. Solberg, look at the power from that car. Just pulls away from Loeb. Loeb has to slot in behind. The dust flies up. Contact behind. Loeb into the side of Bakkerud. Bakkerud's going to get run wide from that. Ekstrom's trying to go in. Ekstrom very, very tidy on the inside. That's wise by Ekstrom. Hooks it up over the curbs on the inside again. Timosyanov ends up P5, but Solberg just blew them away.
He really did pull him on the start. An amazing job by Loeb to get tucked on the inside and not let Bakkerud take the inside of the gravel corner there. That really was a critical moment for Loeb, and now he's just got to chip away at Solberg here.
Riding on board, looking forward at Petter Solberg into the background. Ekstrom, who definitely got mugged a little bit at the start, disappears into the Joker lap. He'll be hoping to lay down some fast ones from there and come back out. So Ekstrom, the only person to Joker on lap 1. I'm kind of surprised. I guess Timosyanov, if you saw him go in, you're not going to follow him in, are you? On board now with Sebastian Loeb.
Yeah, Timosyanov, his whole, really his weekend came down to pulling off a miracle pass on the outside right there, and it just didn't work out for him. Now you have 2 guys out in the lead that are completely at home under pressure. This is them in their moment right now. Bakkerud is going to be trying to hang on with the Ford, but Solberg is in his zone right now and is just checking out.
Absolutely fine. We had a chat with him this morning. Solberg says he's been working on the car setup again, doesn't he? He said he was pleased it was quick in Germany. Seems quick again here, and of course we've got the winter to come. Nobody really knows what anybody's plans are. We're right in the middle of silly season, finding out who's going to go where, what manufacturers are going to come in or go out. I love this part of the year. We're trying to figure out where everyone's going to be. Of course, everybody keen to put in a decent performance at the end of the season. Bakkerud, we know, is with Hoonigan Racing Division next year. Lovely look up over the curb again, really tidy.
Yeah, you can see the suspension working so well on that Ford. It's so soft and compliant. has that, the car stays nice and flat, but you can see the suspension working so well, which is critical when it's slippery like this. Ekstrom running just a little bit wide. He really is going to have to stay to the inside to keep up with Bakkerud.
Fastest lap of the day, Petter Solberg, 39.1, so that is an absolutely outrageous time. I'm trying to see if no one else has been in the 39s. It was a 40.0 for Kristoffersson, so nearly a second quicker.
Yeah, he's really got his head down now, and Loeb is taking the Joker, slammed the door on the Ford, and so he's going to have to battle him out here for the last lap.
On board here now. Down that back straight, coming down towards the braking zone. There you see, push, with Bakkerud. I don't think he'll make any moves on Loeb. Check the bottom right-hand side of your screen. Solberg dives into the Joker lap. That's the target time, 2:52.7. And you'd have to gamble on him taking it, considering how quickly he's been going. Loeb's coming fast around the outside, but Solberg is miles in front and absolutely destroys the time. Solberg wins Q3. That is 3 out of 4 qualifying sessions fallen to the outgoing world champion. Absolutely brilliant drive, Petter Solberg, back on full form. There we are, doesn't even feel the need to show off with a handbrake turn on the way back to the paddock. Petter going very nicely indeed. 2:46.7 from Sebastian Loeb, Bakkerud, Matias Ekstrom and Timur Timizyanov. Let's see where they slot in. And look at that, all 5 to the top. So either they were that much quicker or the track conditions played slightly into their hands. Either way, at the top of that one, Petter Solberg on a flyer, 3 from 3. Another look at the start. Loeb got away well with Solberg, but then Solberg, you see, just outgunned him down to turn 1.
Loeb stuck with him through first gear. Once he hit second gear, both the Ford and the Citroen pulled away from him a little bit. Great job for Loeb, though. Even though he did have that little disadvantage on the straightaway, he was able to stick in second position going into that chicane and make sure that Bakkerud couldn't get a nose in.
Bakkerud in the focus, putting in a decent performance.
Bakkerud closes the door on Ekstrom here. Joker really coming into play with the strategy here, really using it to make sure that the car behind you gets stuck there. And then Loeb does the same. The Citroen working really well. All the changes that Solberg's made really working.
Kevin, you're spotting for Sebastian here. Tell us how good that was as a drive, because he managed to keep Petter Solberg honest.
Yeah, we were really close to Petter on the first 2 laps. Then I think Seb maybe made a little bit of a mistake on the first chicane, but I think we have a good pace. We've come back strong from yesterday. That we had a bit of a rough Q1, but Timo was also quite fast. Unfortunately, he was in the first race, but I think the Porsches are now really starting to catch up to speed.
Cool. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Well, fighting llamas there as we have a look at the standings after Q3. Petter Solberg winning 3 of the 4 qualifiers so far. Remember, only one driver has ever won all 4, and that was Bakkerud in Norway earlier this year. Ekstrom P2, Bakkerud, Loeb, Kristoffersson, Timizyanov, Nitish and Scheider are your top 8. Good job by Timo Scheider to be up there. Baumanis is in, Haikkonen's in. That's key, because look further down. Timmy Hansen is currently P14. He needs to absolutely smash it in Q4 if Peugeot want any hope of keeping their championship fight alive. Well, as you'll be used to, if you're a regular viewer, we've got some wonderful slow-motion pictures for you to have a look at the cars on track during free practice. Tanner Faust, this was Matias Ekstrom, and the conditions are different in some of these shots because, of course, the weather changed constantly yesterday.
It's just amazing shots, seeing these cars fighting for grip. So slow, the drivers are having to be so disciplined on these apexes in order to keep the cars in line, but you can really see the tires still working for it.
The curb as well yesterday, we saw a different approach, didn't we? I think this is the chicane down effectively the first gravel section. And we saw some of the drivers trying to hook a wheel over the inside. This one is the long right-hander, and again, just fighting for it, but trying to keep the steering straight as well.
When it's this slippery, you're really looking for every little bit of advantage you can get. If there's a curb to hook, even if there's some thick gravel that you can maybe push the sidewall of the tire off of. Here you can see a little bit of understeer from Timo as he makes his way out onto the actual track. And notice the body roll that Loeb is getting. His car's working a bit more. There's a bit more grip. Even seeing the hail hit the ground. It's
amazing,
awesome.
Isn't it? It's the weather that we had yesterday was unbelievable. If you look at the track here as well, it was starting to rubber in, wasn't it, after the first dry runs when you and me made the mistake of walking the track, and then the heavens opened, and the conditions just completely changed in an instant. And just the tiniest bit of water here, and the gravel goes really greasy.
As they lay some rubber down, they put a blue groove there. They get some rubber down on that, and like you said, this gravel, when it gets wet, it's almost like clay. And it just completely slimes off. There's no grip to be found. You'll see the drivers trying an outside line, an inside line, on the grass sometimes, trying to get every little bit of advantage they possibly can, and using the practice session full effect, trying to find that grip.
Coming from that right-hander there, you see Solberg on. We watched some onboards actually with this guy, Kristoffersson, who's on a different section of the track now. That was a super hard transition from dirt to tar in the wet. But Kristoffersson here again, down I think on the first gravel section, moving the car around with a bit more grip. Tanner, again, this was the dry section of the track. Yeah, getting everything you possibly can. You can see him playing with the curb there. There is a little bit of a hook to be had in that turn 2 and 3 section coming through the gravel. But in the in-car, they're hardly on the throttle. They're only finding full throttle for maybe a few seconds in the whole lap. So it really is a discipline to be able to feed the power in order to get the best acceleration out of these slippery corners. Ken throwing up some dirt roost in the background there, just a little bit on the wide side, and again just trying to be patient on the throttle. We were hearing wheel spin in 4th gear yesterday. We were, and Ken has put in some really, really good times actually. So some of these tracks really benefit almost an overdrive. And Ken has benefited from that, being so committed, driving right up to the wall on some of the exits. As we go into Q4, here is how they stand. Petter Solberg has won all 3 qualifying sessions so far. Can he make it a clean sweep? Ekstrom second, then Backrud, Loeb, Kristoffersson, Timosyanov, Nitish and Scheider. Inside the top 12 currently, Baumanis, Heikkinen, Markland and Larsen. And the key there is Heikkinen being in. And look at Timmy Hansen, he's just outside in P14. Here we go then, Q4, race 1. Janis Baumanis, Rennie Munich and Ken Block. So Ken, I'm sure, would like to do another one of his around the outside moves. Munich having a good weekend so far. Q3 sitting P13, would love to drag himself back into the top 12. And Baumanis on the inside, though, looks to have hooked it up very nicely indeed. Block will need to be brave if he's going to get around him. Baumanis is late on the brakes. Block moving the focus around high on the banking. And Baumanis turns it in, runs a little bit wide. Ken Block here can possibly get him on the exit. Oh, nudges into the side of Baumanis, gives him another tap as well. Power down and onto the straight. Baumanis in the lead. That was tidy by him. Tanner, what did you think, start-wise? Ken showing a lot of discipline there. You know, he wanted to attack a lot harder, but every push he does on Baumanis just costs him time. Now he goes a bit wide. And Ken really needs to get a clean result on this one and needs to win this particular qualifying heat in order to make the top 12 for semifinals. Yeah, he's P15, isn't he? So not ideal for Ken Block either. So a few people struggling here. Mixed conditions, of course, as well. The track's the driest we've seen. I mean, we saw in Q3 that the times got considerably quicker, particularly the last one. All 5 drivers went faster than everyone gone previously. Now we're getting dust here, and there's a point, isn't there, at which the dirt becomes less tacky from a bit of water, you know, or is it just going to get drier and faster? No, I think if you look at the inside line, the one, not the one that Ken was on in the last lap, but right now, how they're exiting on the inside there, I think it's going, it has the potential to stay pretty much the same speed from now until all the way through Q4. So it could be much more even race between this race and the last one of Q4. Lovely shot there of the super fast right-hander up onto the banking. We do have one other banked corner, of course, in Rallycross that I can think of, the Velodrome up at Holliers, but this one is a super long banking. Of course, it's turn 1 as well, which keeps things exciting. Baumanis at the minute, holding off Block. Gap between them, just 0.8 of a second. You can see it yourself on the screen. If anything, I'd say Block might be reading him in just a little bit. 10th faster on the last lap. Is he going to go Joker and try and get out of traffic? Oh, that was unfortunate for Ken. You know, he got a great exit off of that gravel and was on the inside. Had great momentum. Was thinking, now this is the time I'm going to get him a clean track, and ended up got stuck behind him in the Joker. Not a lot he could do, was there? Because again, the speed through that long left-hander, you were saying earlier, is 80 maybe miles an hour as they come up to the Joker split. We saw Toppy yesterday had to take it because he'd run wide. You can't change your mind at the last minute. It's not like Estering where it's 30 miles an hour. Right. You saw him try to bail out of the Joker, but you're
committed early. You actually are trying to carry more speed, take advantage of that additional speed to clear you out and track you into the Joker. So he's just stuck there. He just needs to try to get as close on that bumper as he can.
Well, Petter's winning time from Q3 was 2:46.7, so this will be our first indication of just how dry the track is. Balmanis is going to take it, but what's the time going to be? Comes over the line, we'll check the timing screens for you. 2:46.8. So that would have been literally just a tenth of a second on Petter's time. Now, I would suggest then that the track conditions have dried and got that little bit faster. So 3 races to go in Q4. Is Petter going to manage to take a full clean sweep? Well, this first race falls to Balmanis. Ken Block is second, Rennie Munich in third. Let's have another look back at the start.
Ken with a great launch. It looked like he may be able to do the outside to the inside here, but he did get blocked a bit from Balmanis, and here he's just the discipline from Ken not to push too hard, to try to take the outside in pass over the tires. He did give him a little nudge there. He saw it wasn't working, tucked back in behind again, back onto the tarmac.
It's good, isn't it, that to maintain that calmness. You know, we saw it, we've seen some ragged driving from a few of the drivers here. If you don't keep a clear head, you can't get the power down, particularly in the slippery conditions we've had. A bit drier this time.
It's so difficult. In the qualifying races, you really have to focus on your overall time. And once you do get to the semifinals, all of that goes out the window, and you can just go for the outright win.
Very much looking forward to that.
Yannis, the conditions look so different from yesterday. What's it like out there?
Yeah, finally the track gets faster and faster, and finally you can enjoy the grip on the gravel section. It's still a little bit tricky, but yeah, it's good experience, definitely.
Do you think you've done enough to make the semis?
I hope yes.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Race 2, Q4. Let's see the lineup. Topi Heikkinen on the inside, and Tom Markland and Kevin Eriksson. So another important race for Topi at EKS. He's currently P10. So far this weekend, he's been P10 twice and P11 once. So not on a flyer compared to his teammate Ekstrom. Eriksson on the outside. Can he do another round the outside or not? A very even start between them. No contact. Markland slides a little bit wide. That puts Eriksson high on the banking, but Heikkinen is late on the brakes. Tries to turn in. Eriksson is going to flick it back the other way again, up and over the curbs. Markland gets the better of him there. Heikkinen slots in behind, and Eriksson ends up P2.
That was ugly. That was amazing. 3 leader changes in 2 corners. I mean, really a good job from Markland to end out in front. You know, it's just a bit of chaos in front of him. He entered the first corner at last and exited the second corner first, so good on him.
Eriksson splits off to the Joker. Interesting, that looked quite late to me as well. You know, when you see them jink right, it wasn't the line he'd taken right from the start. I did think Heikkinen might go, but had the benefit of watching Eriksson go in front of him. So Eriksson tried the round the outside move, couldn't pull it off here. Markland a little bit sideways on the way in top. He's going to capitalise on that on the exit here. Hooks the wheel over the curb. Good traction from Topi Heikkinen. Wipers on just to try and keep the dust off. One of them's clipped the tyre bail on the inside, but nowhere to pass on the way up to the long right-hander. Tricky track to pass on full stop, Tanner.
It really is. I mean, there's a lot of places to make mistakes, but not a lot of places to make up time. And so, for example, on that corner, if you stay to the inside, you're virtually impossible to pass. There goes Topi. He's trying to get some clean laps out of the Joker.
So Topi in, Kevin Eriksson coming round the outside. Watch for these two. Has Eriksson put in an absolute blinder a lap? He has. So Eriksson's in front of Topi there, and Topi was gaining on Markland. So these two guys now are going to push. If you're Markland spotter, Tanner, in some ways you might react now surely and send him in because you know the two guys behind are fast. They give him another lap, they might get the overlap on him.
It's possible. I think Eriksson may have him beat if he goes into the Joker right now. So Markland's probably going to need to stay out and just focus on some clean, tidy laps. Find out where the grip is on the track, because remember, this is a totally different track than the last time they were on it. Find where the grip is, try to squeak some good laps out, and then probably we'll go for the Joker on the last lap.
So Markland has decided to Joker on the last lap, and the two behind him are going to chase him down. We'll be able to have a look at the lap times. Hard to compare, of course, when they've Jokered on the previous ones. Markland up the banking. Eriksson and Topi pushing very, very hard behind, and at the minute there we go. So it looks as though Eriksson would get the better of Markland with our Joker predicted out at the bottom of your screen, and by quite some margin. So possibly how far back is Topi? Yeah, Topi's only 7/10 back, so I think Topi would go with him as well. These two guys very close indeed. Running it out wide though, Tanner.
Yeah, Eriksson makes a mistake. You know, this is the one section of the track where there's a lot of time to be lost. Actually, both Eriksson and Toppy go wide there. That gives Markland an open door. It's really going to come down to the wire here.
So Markland through the joke lap, it's not going to be enough. He gives it a big send on the exit. Toppy goes wide, tries to cover off on the loop, but it is Eriksson who takes it. Toppy very close to the wall when we looked out from the commentary position here. Went super wide up the banky, but it's Eriksson from Heikkinen at the line. Interesting from Toppy there, though. There's maybe an option to run wider and get to the loop before the car in front. 2:44.4 from Kevin Eriksson, 2:44.5 Heikkinen. Markland moves into P3. And those three guys are all quicker than the guys in the race before. Let's have another look back, Tanner, at this first corner. Ugly, I think it was, you said.
Just chaos going on here. I mean, Markland's thinking, worst case scenario, 2 cars in front of me, but now they battle it out. Toppy gives a nice hit to Eriksson. Eriksson is inevitably going to go wide here, and Markland fills the hole. So nice.
He did. He got a tap, actually, from Toppy, didn't he, which pointed him right in at the apex. So in some ways there, he got a bit lucky with the contact, but those guys chased him down hard. Some late decisions on the jokers. I'm not sure if we'll see either of those, but that long left-hander into the joke lap is just so fast. This was Toppy, look. I think that's at the finish it was. Look at Toppy, how high up the banking he goes to try and avoid it. That was actually on the last lap. Great stuff. 2 more qualifying races to go.
Kevin, it was a frustrating day yesterday, but that was a great race win. Tell us what the conditions are like out there.
Now they are really good again. I think it will be quite equal for all the heats. But it's too late for me to start drive good now. It's been the 3 previous heats has been just bad by myself. I didn't really get a hang of this slippery, and of course it's not good when I got in the first heat either. So, but I could have done it better. But I think it was too late to get this good now.
Never mind. Do it next year.
Thank you.
Q4 race 3 on the line, and they're good to go. Kristoffersson on the inside, Rainis Nittish, Timo Scheider, Timmy Hansen, and Robin Larsson. So Hansen, right-hand side of your picture for Peugeot Hansen. This is his last chance to make it through. What can he do off the start here? He needs an absolute flyer. He's in a 5-car race, so it's got to be good down to turn 1, and he hasn't got the greatest start. The 3 cars inside him are all ahead already. Kristoffersson looks like he's got the inside line as long as he brakes nice and late. Scheider trying to come around the outside, moving the Seat around. Larsson goes around the outside of Hansen as well. Hansen's going to end up P5 here if he's not careful. Larsson slots in behind Nittish, and Timmy Hansen is indeed down in P5. And Tanner, that is a disaster.
It really is for Hansen, but Scheider with the move, showing that the outside does work coming into turn 1. You know, when you have that row of cars behind you, the instinct on the inside is to brake early, expect an impact in the rear bumper, but by braking early, you allow somebody to pass you on the outside, and Scheider did an amazing job there.
So Christo into the joker lap in the background, then straight away Nittish has gone in and Hansen has gone with him. And again, Hansen ideally would have liked, wouldn't he, just 1 lap there in clear air to try and get the hammer down and close the gap. He'll have to hope that Nittish is quick enough in front, because he's now stuck behind him for the rest of the race, while Kristoffersson has got clear air out front.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate for Hansen. He's going to need something magical to happen here. We'll see how the joker plays out, though.
You're seeing the grip on, we can see this starting to rubber in, Tanner, which he was doing yesterday before the thunderstorm came along. But that first chicane, the guys are really chucking the car in there now, and they're finding just a little bit more lateral grip.
You can see Kristoffersson there actually braking halfway through the corner in order to keep it on the inside the whole way around. It's really 1 lane wide there. And slipping off of that line is going to cost at least half a second or maybe even more. So still anything can happen here.
Timmy Hansen up the inside of Rainis Nittish as they head towards the banking. Tried to get the nose in there. Now he tries high. Maybe he's going to try and move around the outside. Hansen, I think, on the handbrake on the way down into the chicane. Into the side of Nittish. That's pretty firm, but that's a good pass, I think. Tanner, what's your verdict?
I was a little bit on the desperate side. I would have to side with Nittish on that one, but that's a bump and go run that has been happening all weekend, and they haven't called more than 1 penalty yet on that.
So if you were in Hansen's car and you'd pulled that move off, would you still think it was a bump and run?
I'd claim a brake failure. I'd say it was really dusty or something like that.
Scheider with a mistake. Scheider with a big mistake on the dirt section. You see him pull the car back off the gravel on the inside and onto the banking. Larsson in the background, we can see through the chicane. Still to joker Kristoffersson, Scheider and Larsson out front. Kristoffersson here is on a decent pace. They're on the last lap. 2:44.4 is the target time, which is a couple of seconds quicker than Petter went in Q3, so the track is getting faster. Watch Kristoffersson's line now. He splits right on the brakes and in tight through here. This was where everybody had the problems last year when it was wet. There's much more grip, though, now through the right, and this is going to be a proper indicator of what times we can do. In the background, Timmy Hansen's flying as well, but it is Kristoffersson who takes it with a 2:42.0, so nearly 5 seconds faster than Q3, 2.3 seconds faster than the current leader, Kevin Eriksson. Good job by Johan Kristoffersson. He goes top of Q4 with just one race to go. Tidy drive, very tidy drive indeed. Scheider, front right puncture then for Scheider. I wonder when that was. Well, maybe more than a puncture. I think fair to say front right corner destroyed. Johan Kristoffersson with a 2:42.0 from Larsen, Hansen, Nittisch and Scheider, who definitely had that problem ahead, it looks like, of the last lap. Yeah, the last lap was 51 seconds, so he dumped a load of time there. And that's where those guys slot in. So the top three to the top of the table. Will that be enough to see Timmy Hansen go through to the semi-finals? Good recovery from him, considering this bad start for Timmy. But on the inside, Kristoffersson somehow managed to find himself a bit of space.
Yeah, Kristoffersson owned the start, and then Scheider, you know, with that amazing move from the outside in, takes second place. Things filtered out there. Timmy just had to collect himself from that moment on. So still don't know if he's, I don't see any review for that bump and run that he did there in turn 2, but it's still a good result from where he started.
This was the move, which is a little bit aggressive, we think, but as we say, the timing screens are not showing them under investigation, and that was crucial, but we still don't know if it's enough to take that title fight to the end of the weekend.
Johan, quickest so far in Q4. Is this a big push for getting to the semi-final and the final?
Yeah, I hope so. You see, I mean, the track seems to be quicker and quicker for every heat. So I had a good run in heat 3, but unfortunately the time was not enough. But now I had a clean run, and I think the track was a bit drier than I thought. But we'll see how far this time will be. But I'm really looking forward for the semis, and we need to give it a big push to secure the medal in the championship.
Thank you.
It's time for the last qualifying race of 2016, Q4, race 4. Petter Solberg on the inside with Sebastian Loeb next to him, Andreas Backerud, Matias Ekstrom and Timur Timosyanov. So these guys were the quick guys from Q3 as well. So this should be exciting. Anti-lag on. You can hear the revs already good to go, ready to race. Light comes on. Revs come up. Green light, and it's another even start. A little bit sideways for Backerud off the line. Timosyanov looks to have done well, but Ekstrom's going to edge him. Loeb drops in behind Solberg. Solberg, the dust flies up. Somebody's off in the background, then the banking. So in the wall on the banking, we've got somebody off. We'll see who it is in just a second. It's Timosyanov. So Timosyanov from the commentary position has been in the wall. There he is with the branding attached to the car as well. So shame for the Russian. But out front, it is Solberg leading from Andreas Backerud and Sebastian Loeb, who didn't see what happened to Timur there, Tanner. He must have got well high.
You know, it was an even start, almost a replica of Q3. They all went down the straight at the same time. Timosyanov just got the end of the sandwich, basically, and got pushed up into the wall. Good for him to get off the track, saving us the red flag and keeping the racing going here.
He does indeed. So Timosyanov is out of the car, looking disappointed. Loeb and Ekstrom continuing out front. Loeb is on brand new tyres, and so you know at home we've just had up on the screen a track penalty for Scheider, track limits in the previous race, and under investigation is Timmy Hansen's move on Rainis Nittisch, so we'll see what happens with them. Loeb on his brand new tyres will make it through to the semi-finals, assuming he doesn't have any problems here. A bit quick in there though, Tanner.
Yeah, time loss going on the outside there. You can see Ekstrom just using that inside line and gaining on Loeb there. This is going to be a great battle for them to the end. These are critical points to get the starting position for the semi-final.
That transition there, where they're going from left lock to right, is super committed, isn't it?
It really is, and a lot of them are cutting the curb there, which is kicking dirt up there. It's inconsistent every lap, depending on how much dirt was kicked up just the lap before you're there. And then you never know if the driver in front of you is going to be slowing a bit to take the normal track or speeding through to the Joker.
So tough stuff from these guys, absolutely flat out. Hopefully we'll get to see them do it again. Loeb on the handbrake again, he's giving it the big send, and Ekstrom's gone up the inside. A mistake from Loeb, he tries to get the power down on the exit. But you can see Ekstrom is sideways. Now who's going to go Joker? They're both going to go standard lap again, so for me, Solberg sets the fastest lap of the day, but a mistake from Loeb there. He looked like he was on the bar on the way into the right-hander.
Yeah, it almost seemed like it would have been a good time for Loeb to jump in the Joker, get some clean laps, reset himself, and lay some laps down.
decided not to, went with Ekstrom. So these guys are going at it, absolutely brilliant. The current World Rallycross champion, Ekstrom, of course, crowned last time out against the 9-time World Rally champion. We've got some absolutely fantastic drivers in this championship, and it is a pleasure to see them going at it like they are now. Grip levels are high, Tanner. We can see, can't we, that the track is just developing still as the sun beats down now.
Yeah, there's an inside lane there that we've been talking about that has just gotten more and more grippy, and the penalty for going off of it, as Loeb pointed out there, is basically you lose a position.
Yeah, back out in the dirt, lose the traction as it's getting swept clean. Backward is going slowly from the commentary position. Backward's going slowly. You're about to see him because they're gaining on him. So he had a problem, Backward did. He was right up with Petter, took his joker lap, and now he's falling back into the clutches of these two. So watch for Ekstrom trying to go up the inside. Doesn't seem to have a problem with the power. So is it a puncture for Backward? We can't see if he's struggling to make the car turn in. Looks to have all the tyres intact, but definitely a problem because he's dropped right back.
This would be a good time for Ekstrom to take the joker, get out of the way. Nope, he follows Backarud, takes the pass instead.
Oh, up the inside, checker flag for Solberg. Look in the background to see Backarud somehow has held on. Ekstrom comes over the line in P3 with Loeb right behind in P4, so maybe it was just the joker then that slotted Backarud back, but he was definitely going slowly up onto the banking. Right, okay, some clarification for you. So up on the timing screen, this is why it's so confusing. They've done an extra lap, which of course is why Backarud backed off on his way up the banking. He thought he'd seen the checker flag. There is the result. 2:37.3 for Solberg. He's done it. Solberg has won Q4, which means he has won all 4 qualifying sessions. That's only the second time ever that has happened. Backward, Ekstrom, Loeb and Timosyanov with that DNF. Confirmation that Petter has won Q4. There he goes, and he slots in at the top of the table with his fellow Norwegian Backward right behind him. So brilliant job by Solberg. Of course, Backward, the other guy who's done the clean sweep of qualifying. Right. Well, there's a slightly clearer head. Now maybe we can figure out, Tanner, what happened to Timosyanov in turn 1.
Yeah, I think he just gets, just wheel-to-wheel contact before he even gets to the banking. A really hard hit into the wall.
And almost into our camera as well. The camera's just there it is. The cameraman pulling the camera back out through the hole as Timosyanov goes through. So
you can see the sun is doing its work out here. Dusty already, even on the tarmac, as these guys make their way through the first corner. I'm really fighting for it. Backarud pivots the car around amazingly. There, Loeb throws it away a little bit, lets Ekstrom slip on underneath. That was unfortunate for him, but and then that's when we thought there were an extra couple laps, and that was it.
Loeb behind Ekstrom. This was at the end when we thought they were still racing, but actually they were done just 1 lap before.
Matias, as things stand going into the semi-final here in Argentina, Team EKS RX are team's champion-elect. It's not quite as simple as that, is it?
No, as far as my guys calculate, we are in front of points for sure, but if one car wouldn't make the semi and Timmy jumps in, then it's all open again. So we have to be patient and see if Timmy makes the semis, then there is a chance, and if he is not one of the 12 cars or in one of the semis, then that's enough. That's what my guys tell me.
I think that's accurate, completely 100% true. So what does that do to your mindset as you prepare for the semi-final?
I'm still interested to try and get another podium today, and we're doing the best we can. We started off a bit on the wrong foot in Q2, where we lost some track position in the muddy race there, but except for this, cars is running fine and all good so far, and we just go to the semis as usual. Best defense is full attack.
Well, for now, congratulations until we know it's confirmed.
Yeah, we celebrate when we know it's for sure.
Thank you.
There we go, an owl in Argentina. Maybe with his 360 vision, he can figure out the points in this championship for us. There we are, Petter Solberg, the second time ever anybody has won all 4 qualifying sessions. Solberg does it in Argentina. Backward was the last guy to do it back in Norway. He's P2 here in Argentina at the end of qualifying. Then it's Ekstrom, Loeb, Kristoffersen, Nittisch, Timosyanov and Larsen. Heikkinen, Marklund, Baumanis and Scheider, and Timmy Hansen has missed the semi-finals. So unless someone in front of him is disqualified, and as far as I can see, it's only Timmy that's actually under investigation himself for his pass on Nittisch, that is going to give EKS the team's title at the semi-final stage.
Well, I'm here at Volkswagen Sweden RX, and it's great to see Anton making it through to the semi-final, but maybe you forgot that you don't take off your driver's suit because, you know, you've got to race again very soon.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I've been sweating enough so far in the suit, so I will bring a new one on for the semi-finals. It's amazingly hot here, so I'm taking every chance I have to get the suit off with the 3 layers, so that's why.
You must be very pleased to be in this position, to be in the semi-final, and you seem to have delivered a very solid weekend's racing so far.
Yeah, I mean, Q1 was very good, and unfortunately we didn't run the Q2 in rain because I really liked the rain. And then Q3 or the Q2 and Q3 this morning I was struggling with some engine issues, and the guys were able to sort it out for the Q4, and then we could advance some positions and be P10 for the semis. So it has been an okay weekend. I had to beat Block, and Johan had to beat Bakkerud for the team championship. So yeah, I've done my job, and now we just keep on pushing in the semis.
So that's it now, there's no team orders, there's nothing, it's just flat out see who can win.
Yeah, I want to have my first podium, and I think that's the order from the team as well. Do as good result as you can, and that's what I will do. I will go out in the semis and fight very hard, and I want to have the top 3 position so I can move on to the finals. And well, there everything can happen for sure.
Well, it'll be great to see you on the podium at the end of the season. Thanks, Anton. Good luck. Let's go see if we can grab a word with Johan Kristoffersson. He seems to be looking at scores and data. I'm talking to his engineer. Sorry to interrupt there. Was that important information about the setup for the car?
Maybe not. We'll see, I will try.
So a great performance so far, but what's Petter doing differently that means he's so much quicker?
Can you go and ask him? That would be awesome to know. Petter's been really flying. He's been really quick, and to be honest, no one has been really close. But I mean, there is a fight going on behind him as well. So and anything can happen in the semi-final. We know it from before. So we will fight as much as we can. I think I have Petter and Matias now in my semi in front of me, and Timer on the outside, which is also very quick. So we'll see, we'll fight, and we'll see where we end up.
Well, it looks like you and Anton have already done enough to be above Ford Hoonigan in the teams, but we know that you're really keen to get that position for the Drivers' Championship. What do you have to do now to make that happen?
I have to, I mean, I cannot do more than just focus on my stuff and try to get into the final, get a good position in the semi-final, and then, I mean, from there we'll see. I will push as much as I can, and like I said, anything can happen in the semi-final and final. So I'm coming a bit from behind now, but I will really push to stay on top.
Well, I think there's huge crowds here at Argentina. They love watching motorsport here, and they'll want to see you do well. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
We approach semi-final time here in Argentina. Neil Cole is down on the pre-grid, I think, and he's got with him Petter Solberg, who of course is the 2nd person ever to do that fantastic clean sweep in the qualifying stages of a World RX event.
Petter Solberg, it's great to see you here in Argentina, a place that's got such rich motorsport history and must have good memories for you. So it's nice that you're at the front for semi-final 1.
Yeah, for sure. You know, with all the rally success we have had here, and also you know, winning the championship here last year it's fantastic. So yeah, now it's semi and the final to go, so it'll be interesting. Big fight for the silver in the championship. So I do everything we can.
And most of the other drivers are wondering how you found what seems to be a couple of seconds extra speed per lap over all of them.
I was 42 now, and not so long time ago. So you know, you get better with age.
Well, good luck in your semi. Hopefully, see you in the final.
Thank you.
Well, another year older, another year wiser. Tanner, that's how he reckons he's got that extra timer. I don't believe him.
I wish that was the case.
Yeah.
That would be good.
It would, wouldn't it?
Nah, he certainly has the experience, and certainly has the experience with this car. You know, whether this is the last event he has in the car or not, who knows, but he certainly has it dialed, and he's able to adapt it to every new track that he comes to really quickly, and he's got the field on their heels.
The pressure's kind of off, isn't it? I mean, we all know he wants P2 in the championship, but Petter only wanted one position, that was P1. So now it's just a case of, look, I'm going to race, I'm going to stick it to you, I'm going to show you I was fastest. I just didn't go my way.
It's absolutely true, and there's this vibe through the paddock that everybody would be just as happy leaving their cars here in a pile of rubble than putting them back in the containers and shipping them home. So I think, you know, the racing from here on out is going to be absolutely pushed to the 11th level, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Maximum flat-out stuff. Very, very much looking forward to the semi-finals. Stick with us. They are just a few minutes away. We're going to find out who's going to win the last round of the 2016 World Rallycross Championship. What a weekend in Argentina. Look at the pictures you're seeing there and you can see the sunshine. If you saw what you've just seen in the titles clearly, there wasn't anything to be seen clearly yesterday. It was pouring torrential rain, flooded tracks. There was even talk of whether or not we'd be racing today, but the organisers have done a great job. And the 12th and final round of the 2016 FIA World Rallycross Championship is going to conclude this afternoon. Just 2 semi-finals and the final to go. Very much looking forward to that. This is how the semi-finals line up. We can give you an overview of qualifying if you've missed it. Solberg taking TQ. That is his 10th career TQ in the World Rallycross Championship. The first driver to get to double figures, followed by Backrud, Ekstrom, Loeb, Kristoffersen, Nitish, Timosyanov, Larsen, Heikkinen, Markland, Baumanis and Scheider. You can see Timmy Hansen missed out in P13, and that's crucial. Unless somebody retires in these semi-finals and Timmy comes in and wins the whole event, EKS are the team's champions. Semi-final 1, Petter Solberg on the front row with Matias Ekstrom, so the outgoing and the incoming world champions. And semi-final 2, Andreas Backrud and Sebastian Loeb, 2 winners from this year. Who's going to take the final win of the season? Will it be Andreas Backrud? It would be his 3rd win if he can do it. Neil Cole had a catch up with him earlier on.
Andreas, the grids for the semi-finals at the last round of the 2016 championship are assembling behind us. You've got pole position in semi-final 2. What are you going to do once the lights go green?
Well, it's nothing much I can do. I need to just go flat out and hopefully get into the final.
And who's your money on for semi-1? Because at the moment, Petter's looking like he could match your record of a clean sweep of top points all weekend.
Well, he have been on it all weekend. I mean, he have been just flat out everywhere, and he have been dominating this weekend here in Argentina. I think his setup and his car is just spot on perfect here. We have tried, but when he's in the flow, he nails the starts. He's nailing on the track. So, so I mean, even though Ken is saying no in the background and Snapchatting and doing his thing, I think he has this.
So I can see that spirits are high. Ken Block's filming us for his social media. He's not in the semis. You are. What are you going to do with Sebastian Loeb alongside you? Because he's certainly learned to get his elbows out.
He knows how to wrestle, you know, but Kid Coop taught me the same. So, I mean, it's going to be a hard one into turn 1, 2, 3, for sure. From that on, I just need to stay stable and try to see where I can pass if I'm behind, and hopefully I take the start and get free and do my own race.
And just going back to Q4, what happened? Because we saw you slow.
Slow? I was second, so I think it was okay. You know, I couldn't keep up with Petter, but I tried my best and I was pretty happy with the race.
You know, what happened was they did an extra lap and Backrud thought it was the end of the race, so it was a good drive by him anyway. Let's have a very quick look at the driver standings as they are now, so after the qualifying stages of this event. At the top of the table, Matias Ekstrom, of course, cannot be beaten as the world champion. Petter Solberg has opened up a decent gap for himself, but Kristoffersen and Andreas Backrud are still in that fight for P2 and P3 in the championship. So one of them is going to miss out on a trophy, and that's going to upset them a huge amount. Backrud, I'm sure, would like to take another win and get himself up in that fight. My name's Andrew Coley. Alongside me is Tanner Faust. We have Neil Cole and Hal Ridge reporting from the paddock as always. Tanner, cracking weekend so far. A little bit of doubt yesterday as to whether we needed boats or rallycross cars, but looking forward to the semi-finals.
It was an unbelievable torrential downpour yesterday. It really was incredible to see. I mean, all the drivers stayed in high spirits, even though they traveled all the way out here. Just had to keep the cars in the boxes, and we've got a crazy amount of racing already done today. It's going to be a battle, though. It
is indeed going to be a battle, and we are ready for the first of the semi-finals. Here we go. Here is the lineup for semi-final 1 at the final round of the World Rallycross Championship 2016. Petter Solberg on pole, the outgoing champion, with the incoming champion Matias Ekstrom alongside him. Battle for honour there. Johan Kristoffersen and Timosyanov on row 2. On row 3, Topi Heikkinen and Yannis Baumanis. 6 cars up into turn 1 for the first time this weekend. Revs are starting to rise. The ready to race light goes on. Jump start. That for me is Ekstrom. What do you think, Tanner?
It has to be. It has to be Ekstrom, and then the whole field moved behind him. Ekstrom gets the jump. He's doing 2 jokers. Wow, does that put a mix on things already?
So there we are, Ekstrom jump start. You can see it top left, shows you where the jump is on the list of drivers. So that's a very recent addition to our graphics. Another guide for you guys at home. So Ekstrom, Toppy jumped the start course earlier on today in the other EKS car. So
what a gutted feeling that has to be, because all the pressure's on you. You're waiting for the lights. Oh, he wasn't even close.
No, by a mile, wasn't it?
Yep.
By a mile.
Yep.
Okay, and he knew, look, he was on the brake. You know, sometimes they disappear off, don't they, and get a lap done before they realise, wow, this is a big lead. But but not this time. Called back just in time. So lining everybody back up on those sensors. Take 2 for semi-final 1.
Well, it certainly does clear things out for everybody to race it out for the following spots in the championship. Ekstrom will be back at the back with that second joker, and everybody else will be able to battle it out.
Ready to race again in semi-final 1. Are they going to get away clean this time? A little bit of steam or smoke coming from Ekstrom's bonnet, it looked like there, just up by the screen. But either way, an absolutely stunning start. Didn't jump it this time, but he's killed it down to turn 1. Ekstrom leads, the dust flies behind. Oh, and an absolute fly. Yanis Balmanis has come from down P6, and he's up the inside of Solberg for P2. Ekstrom hooks the curb. Timazyanov in the back of his teammate. Somebody's off on the right side. Solberg's off on the right side as well. Carnage at turn 1 in the first of the semi-finals. I can't even tell you who's leading right now, so Solberg's back in there, Balmanis as well. So carnage. Solberg, is it from Balmanis, and then behind it's Toppy Heikkinen. Where is Ekstrom? Is Ekstrom in front, or is he behind these guys? And the smoke pouring off the rear left tire. Ekstrom is miles out in front, so we were wrong. And Kristoffersson too, so my bad. There we go. We didn't see anything of those guys. Tanner, you haven't even managed to get a word in the first lap.
No, I mean, it's
sorry,
dude. No, Timazano, I mean, he just basically drove it into the dust. Balmanis just went for it. You see he's got possibly a tire going down as it's rubbing on the bodywork. But it really just unbelievable first lap. Ekstrom could actually pull this off if he gets a good joker in.
Yeah, he's absolutely bang on. I hadn't even thought of that. So he's got to get 2 jokers in. Of course, Ekstrom, who jumped the start, has possibly had a massive advantage handed to him. Look for the rear left. I think there's a broken suspension link on Balmanis' rear left wheel. It doesn't look to me to be tracking straight. Ekstrom's on a massive push. They'll be on the radio to him now, Tanner, saying, won't they? Look, they've had a shocker behind you. Go for it. You can do this.
Kristoffersson knows that he just needs to stay as close to Ekstrom as possible, and he's got 2 jokers to do it, so all he needs to do is stay there and let the car get out of his way.
Balmanis with heavy loading. The worst case scenario is a big banked corner and the rear left's going down. Every time he's leaning on it's going to be cutting further into it. I'll be really surprised if that rear left tyre makes 6 laps.
We have 2 very long right corners that will be loading that tyre completely, so there's a huge amount of temperature there. It could really go any second.
I wonder if it might have gone already. We'll soon find out. Look at Ekstrom. He's on an absolute mission. Tanner's gritting his teeth next to me.
He's just holding on for life, and when you make that left corner before the joker, you know, you can dive into it really big, and if it's too big, you have the option of taking the joker.
Toppy slotted up the inside of Balmanis, then Balmanis runs wide but gets it back together. The rear left tyre's gone down. Balmanis has off the rear left. Toppy up the inside. Oh my goodness me! Up onto the banking. We didn't see Balmanis has spun from the commentary position. There you go. You can see it too. So forget Balmanis. He's out. Solberg now. Is there a problem for Solberg too, Tanner?
Solberg looks like he has damage. Looks like he's got some sort of steering issue.
So Solberg might have a problem as well as he turns into the right-hander. Toppy, it is Solberg's front left. So Solberg's front left steering arm, I think, is off the guy. No, but it's still turning. It's still turning. Oh, Balmanis then. So Balmanis pulls off the track. He is done. But is there a problem? Solberg now is behind Heikkinen. I think Solberg's got a problem. Maybe it's the front right. Desperately hard to see.
Yeah, I think the front left on Solberg's car is completely, the tie rod from the steering is broken. It's going to be really difficult for him to even finish the race, much less get a result out of this.
Oh, Solberg's got to go top 3, remember. He stands a chance because Ekstrom has still got to do 2 jokers. There's Ekstrom, Kristoffersson, Heikkinen. Oh, well, yeah, it is front left. Look at that. The tyre's smoking, where, of course, it's not. It's facing the opposite direction to travel. Now Timazyanov comes around. Timmer, arguably, I think Tanner might have caused this. Balmanis' move to me in turn 1 looked good. I think Timmer came in hot from behind.
Anytime you climb over the top of another car, you might have done something a little bit aggressive.
Oh, Solberg! Solberg is off! So did Solberg spin? Is that Solberg? It's the Joker. It's at the Joker merge. So sorry, the Joker split. Solberg has come round for the Joker split, hasn't he? He's pulled it away. So Solberg's car is moving again. He's okay. Solberg's going for the hero drive from the commentary position. He's going to try and continue round. Oh, he's bonkers if he thinks he's going to get that. Look at it. There's bits of the car flapping off everywhere. Good to know he's okay, because he would have hit the end of that fairly hard, Tanner, I think.
Yeah, it's a good thing that that's just tires there and there isn't concrete in there. Now Ekstrom goes in for another Joker here.
Checker flag is out. Christopherson takes the first of the semi-finals. Unbelievably, Ekstrom with a jump start goes through in P2. His teammate Heikkinen goes through in P3, which surely, absolutely, concretely confirms them as team's champion. And Solberg, though, I can't help but feel a bit sorry for him. On board with him now. Here we are with Petter. Oh, he's desperate. He's desperately trying to find the gears. It's over, Petter. Park it.
Oh, he's absolutely gutted for sure. He's screaming into the radio.
Oh, it's gutting. It's gutting.
So for his championship, what does that do for his
That's a good
points
point.
there?
That's a good point. Tanner first on it, and I'll need to see a points table to give you any idea at home, but he's going to have been, who's gone through? Christopherson's gone through. Christopherson's currently, I think, was P3, wasn't he, with the latest standings.
Yeah, so Christopherson was only 4 or 5 points behind.
He's trying to
Solberg.
get round to the checkered flag, look. Oh, it's going to make... will it make a no, it doesn't make any difference. He's already classified ahead of Balmanis. So Solberg picks up 2 championship points here. I think he was something in the region of 10 or 11 clear. Oh, dear. I sense enormous frustration here, Tanner, apart from just trying to get to the finish. I mean, if he gets this round, I hope the local crowd give him the most incredible round of applause. Petter Solberg possibly bowing out this car, which has won the championship twice for him. Solberg over the line. He takes the checkered flag. That's the drive of a champion. He might be an outgoing one, but Petter got it to the finish line. He'd be very emotional inside that car, because this was, to me, he was going to absolutely smash this weekend, Tanner. I thought he had it sewn up.
He has had everybody's number all weekend. He's been seconds ahead of everybody in every single qualifying heat.
Christopherson taking the win from Matias Ekstrom. Toppy Heikkinen in P3. So both the EKS RX cars make the final. Timosyanov, Solberg and Balmanis are all out. Let's have another look at that start then, Tanner. So watch for Timosyanov, black and white Fiesta with the yellow markings on it around the outside. Balmanis seems to go round Timmer, look. So Balmanis is on the inside, then watch Timmer here. There he is, boom. He's on the gas.
He takes the dive bomb. He ends up hitting his teammate, which cleans out 3 or more cars. It was just very aggressive, and it was a big penalty there to pay. I mean, Timosyanov made out on it, but you have to feel for Solberg, and you have to feel for some of the other guys that took damage there.
Yeah, Balmanis as well, yeah, shocker. That's a shame. That's a shame. But there you go, that's Rallycross. The semi-finals are always exciting, aren't they? Because as we were discussing earlier today, there's Petter, similar to Markland last year. So Markland, once you get hooked into that tyre barrier, it just pulls you in.
It's
shocker.
It really is.
Well, there's another look at Petter's off. No such problems though for Johan Kristoffersson, who's with Neil Cole now.
Johan, an emphatic semi-final 1 victory there. It was crazy behind you, but you just knew that Matias had to take 2 Jokers.
Yeah, I knew it, and I mean, Matias was also quick, and I was trying to don't kill the tires, but stay as close to Matias as possible, and yeah, that was very crazy. I mean, I don't know how they're thinking in the first corner sometimes. People are crazy, but I mean, it's very good for me, good for the championship, and I know there's a local bar in Arvika pushing hard for me right now, so I have to do my best.
Okay, good luck, thank you.
Well, crowd with the umbrellas up today for very different results to yesterday. Just been treated to a bit too much action, I think, in semi-final number 1. There's a lovely view of the land around here, and a lot of that's flooded, more than it normally would be. The river's very, very full indeed, but it is a beautiful day in Argentina, and we're looking forward to semi-final 2 and to the last final of this 2016 season. Wow, okay, so exciting stuff, Tanner, in the first semi. As we say, a bit too exciting. We don't really want to see carnage. Yeah, I'm not saying to Timmy you shouldn't have done that. You've got to go for it, and it was a mistake. But you know, it was a bit more than we would have liked to have seen. There's Petter's car. I mean, I don't even know really why they're prepared. I guess to drive it back in the. They're putting bumpers and things on it, unless they're going to protest. But
I mean, as you said, it is rallycross, right?
Yeah.
And it is a tight space for so many cars to pack into, 6 cars into that tight little corner. But it does mix the points up now with Kristoffersson and Bakkerud back in the fight for second.
We're going to have another look at that first corner incident. So this was a brilliant start by Ekstrom, who risked it all at the start, despite already having done a jump start. One more and you're out, you know, disqualified. What do you think, Tanner, here? Looks good move by Balmanis,
Yeah,
isn't
Balmanis went to the outside and looked like he'd got on the brakes in time. But if you watch Timo, he just stays on the throttle. Maybe he's lost in the dust.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't exactly time the braking. But
or had a problem maybe with the throttle. You know what I mean? It looked unusual, didn't it? There's taking a risk and diving, and like that was just firing it in.
Yeah, he mounted up on the top of another car, which is not the easiest thing to do. But then it all sort of fell apart a little bit for Solberg and
Balmanis too, wasn't it? You know, with that smoking bit, it was always going to a little bit of tyre smoke. You rub a bit off a tyre, you're okay, can't you? But when it's carving through the tyre like this, and particularly when we see him up on the banking here, you see Balmanis just leaning hard on that rear left. Have another look as well, I think, at Petter Solberg's crash. Here it is. Oh, and he was with Timmer there. I don't know if Timmer forced him wide. I'd suggest no, he just didn't have the steering.
No, he just didn't have the steering. And once you touch a stack of tires like that, it draws you in there. I mean, luckily it wasn't concrete.
There he goes with
But he's
Piniella.
going to be one heated man for sure.
Okay, so those guys are saying, I don't think so. Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's one that Neil Cole might well be pleased that he's not allowed into, I think. So I'm disappointed for Petter. I am disappointed for Petter. You caught a glimpse there of the containers which he brought the cars over in. All the other teams just use standard containers, but Petter, from his WRC days, has got these fantastic ones, hasn't he, with all the spares organised in and the car goes in and there's racking above to put stuff in. The guys are repairing it like mad. He was P5. Timers Yarnov ahead of him. I'm sure Petter will have been... yes, so 7, warning flag for pushing. I guess they're going to try and protest that and hope that Petter ends up P4, but then one of the 3 guys in front's got to go, and they're not going to go because they're not under investigation. So I can't quite see the repairs, but there you go. That's Petter's team, flat out working as always, just in case.
Yeah, just in case something happens, they need to have the car ready. But I mean, it really the door just opened up for Kristoffersson. It you know, the seas parted for him, and he just walked right through. It really was incredible for him.
See what that means for the championship points later on. Of course, who's going to win this final round? Cars are on the grid and good to go for semi-final 2 in Argentina. Let's have a look at the lineup. On the inside at the front, Andreas Bakkerud locked in that fight with Kristoffersson, probably now for P2 in the championship with Solberg and his problems. Sebastian Loeb alongside him. Row 2, Rainis Nittisch and Robin Larsson. And row 3, Anton Markland and Timo Scheider. So Markland and Scheider would love to make it through to the final. I think it would be Scheider's first final if he did make it. They'll all have seen what happened, of course, in the first semi-final. Be wondering if it's going to happen again. Larsson is the danger man around the outside here. Bakkerud's got the best start, and up the inside, Nittisch has got the better of Loeb. Loeb backing it in big time. Nittisch gives him a tap, runs him wide. Larsson somewhere in the middle of that melee of cars. Super sideways, and we've got another first corner issue. This is carnage in semi-final 2. Very unusual. Off on the inside, is it Nittisch who's lost out? Loeb's a long way back. And there comes Anton Markland. So Loeb is on the inside of Markland as he defends up into the right-hander. Bakkerud is leading from Scheider and Larsson. So we called it, you know, on the grid, and people are just a bit too keen in there, Tanner.
Bakkerud had everything to gain from being aggressive there. He had to be aggressive. Seeing what happened to Kristoffersson, if he was going to stay in the battle for second, he had to attack. But literally cameramen were running around the track there.
Yeah, trying to get out of the way. They just didn't know how far people were going to come. 5-second penalty for Sebastian Loeb, car 9, of course, in reference to his 9 World Rally Championships. We're interested in what's going on out on the track. Timo Scheider looking to stick that car in the final. He'll be over the moon with that. I'm pretty sure Rainis Nittisch did it in France, got it through, so it would be a brilliant way for Scheider to sign off. Of course, some doubts. He's kind of retired from DTM, then a rumour he might come back to it, but we know he loves Rallycross, and we'd love to have him in this series next year. Bakkerud leading from Scheider, and nobody yet, as I say, nobody's taken the joke lap from the commentary position. We can see that both Loeb and Markland have gone in there, and Nittisch coming round now, long way back. So Nittisch was way off in the centre of the track. track, Tanner.
It's too bad. He's done such a good job to get into the semi-finals, you know, coming in as a wild card, coming in as different, you know, always driving different cars throughout the championship.
Yeah.
Not an easy thing to do, really. So to make it in the top 12 in this field is pretty impressive. But Bakkerud is just hoping to cruise through the rest of this race here.
I'd really love to see the championship points maybe before the final. I don't know whether or not we'll be able to arrange that. We need someone to do some frantic maths for us. Into the Joker lap goes Scheider and Larson. Surprised that Larson went with him, because that doesn't give him the chance to get the overlap, unless he's not fussed and just thinks I'll make it through to the back row of the final. It doesn't matter.
There's one of two things that happened there. Either Loeb is gaining on them and they needed to put themselves in front of Loeb just to close the door, or he was already committed to the Joker and didn't know he didn't have any choice.
No, yeah, can't change my mind too late. I'm going in. So, well, let's hope everybody keeps it a little bit more sensible once we get to final time. But this, of course, is about the top three, who makes it through and who goes out. Look at the lead that Andreas Bakkerud's got. He, of course, is the only driver not to have jokered yet. I wonder if they'll leave him. I know from a tactics point of view, they'll be hoping for a last lap joker, as we see Nitish dive in there now at the rear of the field, keeps it tidy. You can see the track's been watered, so we've got a mixture there, haven't we, of some slimy grip, but also a fair bit of dust. Bakkerud's door's open as well, so he'll be getting some dust in there. Of course, he's in a good position being out front, hopefully less dust than he would further down the field.
Yeah, and sure enough, Loeb is gaining on Larson a little bit, putting a little bit of pressure on here, but you see Bakkerud just comfortable here in his office and just pushing it through the Joker to the finish.
Straight in, so Bakkerud in. He's gone in a lap early, which is interesting. I don't think he thinks Scheider's overlapping him, but that just gives them a margin for error, doesn't it? And you were saying this is a big car, but he hustles it well, Tanner.
He really does, and you know, he comes from a two-wheel drive background. He's used to dealing with slippery surfaces and too much power for the amount of acceleration grip that he has. He and his teammate Ken Block there both have done an amazing job of getting these cars up to speed really quickly. But the more slippery the surface, the better Bakkerud is. Oh my gosh, Loeb is making a move.
Loeb off on the grass again. He's already had one warning for track limits, so he doesn't really need to worry about that, does he? Just give him another one, but he was right up with Larson. Of course, he knows if he can get Larson, he's in the semi-final. He won't know. He's been given a 5-second penalty, and Larson possibly won't either, so those guys really fighting hard. Bakkerud is going to take semi-final 2, doesn't even throttle it over the line, doesn't need to. Scheider goes through in P2, Robin Larson goes through in P3 and keeps his hopes alive of taking another win here in Argentina. Of course, Larson won the last round of the championship last year. So a bit more carnage down at turn 1. Bakkerud has a look across to the door. I wonder if somebody got in his door in turn 1. I don't remember. There was so much going on.
Loeb was jumping the curb, which could have been you know, a few feet off the ground, and it looked like he nosed right into it right before half the field went off into the grass.
And that, of course, is the one panel on the car which is not a carbon panel, because the driver's door has to remain
it's a stock piece. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, it's for driver protection along with the roof skin. So it's the only one which could deform. Either way, Bakkerud, broken door or not, is P1 in semi-final 2 with Scheider and Robin Larson. Great job, Timo Scheider. Good to see him in. Markland, Loeb and Nitish will go no further this race, or indeed this year, because we're right at the end of the season. So off the start, who are we on board with here? Green light away, front row. Possibly Bakkerud on the inside. I think, no, there's Bakkerud on the inside, so we must be with Loeb, who's on the front row with him.
So we'll see if he got pushed into the door or if he drove it in himself.
There it is.
That's hard to say.
Yeah, it is. I think maybe from behind, because he then ends up, doesn't he, firing off on the outside. And I always think it's difficult when someone gets a 5-second penalty for track limits when they were pushed off. I'm kind of the opinion, look, it's not fair.
It's tricky, and especially since this is basically a swamp right off the track. It's been raining so hard the last 2 days. Once you get in the grass, I mean, it's basically just swampland out there, so it's difficult to get turned right around.
Yeah, you're not going to do a U-turn, are you, in these conditions? There we are. There's another look at turn 1, and Nitish was a really innocent victim there too, so he went off to the side. So, well, Neil Cole's managed to get hold of Timo Scheider, which is cool, because this is the first time he's made it through to a World RX final.
Timo, you've got up to speed in World Rallycross pretty quickly. You've made it through to your first final. How does it feel?
Yeah, awesome. It was a strange weekend so far, but we picked up the pace quite quick after some issues with power steering, then a broken rim. So in the end, coming to the final is such a great feeling.
And there's so much slippery gravel out there. How are you coping compared to, you know, DTM?
Well, it's more sideways than DTM for sure. And it's more rubbing and tough racing. I like that. So yeah, let's go on to the final and fight again.
Have a great time in the final. Thank you.
Thanks. Have fun.
Timo Will like it, of course, because all that fighting, as we said when they were on the grid, just opened the door for him down at the first one, not the first one, the second one. Backer at a wink from him. Ken Block in the background, maybe a bit of Instagram or Snapchat. I suggest these guys are on it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is big for them, and now that the door is really opened up for possibly a second place in the championship in their first year out.
Would be absolutely amazing, wouldn't it? Be a fantastic result for them. So there we are. All to play for, just the final to come.
So much dust.
We are backward having a little drink. High five with Ken Block, and I believe we can have a look at the driver's standings as they are now, which is fantastic because I'm rubbish at maths. Here we go. Matias Ekstrom then 270. Ignore Matias. This is about Solberg and Kristoffersson. So Kristoffersson needs 4 points, but Petter, they've got 1 win each, then it would come down to seconds. I'm looking at Kristoffersson. Petter has got a second. If they finish equal on points, I think Petter will take it. So Kristoffersson has only got to get 4 points. So if he gets 5, so Kristoffersson actually needs second place in the final. Bakkerud, 231, would need 8 for the win to get himself up with Solberg. So if Bakkerud takes 8, it'd be 239. I might be wrong with all this at home, so don't shoot the messenger. Bakkerud has 2 wins to Petter's 1. So that would give Bakkerud P2 in the championship. So Bakkerud needs a win. Kristoffersson needs second, but Kristoffersson needs Bakkerud not to be ahead of him if that's the case, I think. What do you think of that, Tanner?
The smoke coming out of your ears is... you were really concentrating there. I mean, for sure, they're all going to be just going for it. And, of course, all their teams are going through the math right now and trying to figure out exactly where they need to be, just so the spotters can give them a heads up on how much to risk at different parts of the actual final race. We
should give them a disclaimer. If they're watching in the paddock, you must do your own maths in case all the graphics are wrong, and figure out for yourself how to get P2 in this fantastic championship. But another look back at some of the action from semi-final 2. The first corner here was a bit too carnage. Everyone's been really well behaved during qualifying when it's about time, but they've all gone a bit wild, haven't they, when they know it's about position.
Yeah, that first gravel chicane has been really a bottleneck for the entire weekend. Wet, dry, it just doesn't matter because you have so much grip coming in on the tarmac, and then suddenly you have to stop on that tight left corner, and it just puts everybody together in the same place.
Look at Loeb there, backing it in. It was a tidy piece of car control. He actually got a tap from Nitish, which isn't Nitish's fault. Don't think he had anywhere to go with, with the bales on the inside. And then here, what happened? See, Loeb's all locked up, isn't he? And when he hits the curve, that launches him across. And he then gets a hand behind from Larson. I wonder if he had a hand from Scheider, but we can't see that far enough back, and I suspect the stewards can't either. So it was only Loeb who got given a warning in that one.
There is no doubt when you come into that corner, the guys that are third back have a lot less to lose.
Yeah.
And so that's the risk of it. When you have guys behind you, they can kind of cause it a little bit, but they may not get the blame.
Yeah, indeed. Well, we've got one more race to go. Of course, it's the last race of the 2016 FIA World Rallycross Championship, the final of the year. And we're going to pick up just one more trophy before 2017. Frantic preparation ahead of the last race of the season. Timo Scheider's guys giving the car a quick wash and putting some wheels on the car. Tyres, of course, probably used from earlier on. They only get 2 sets for the weekend, but either way, prepping themselves up to hopefully get their best result of the year. What did Nicky do back in France? I'm just looking to see. He was 5th, so can Scheider do any better than that? Well, talking about France, we've had an absolutely brilliant season, not just France, but the previous 11 rounds, and we hope that you will enjoy a great look back at the rest of 2016. 2016 kicked off with some big new faces as Loeb and Block joined full-time, but everybody knew exactly who they had to beat.
Let the battle commence. This is World RX.
Big views, big clouds and often heavy rain are the ingredients that make up a World RX weekend in Portugal. The season started wet, but there was thunder on the track as Solberg started with a win and told the rest they will need to get tough in 2016. The legendary Hockenheim hosted round 2, and there were fireworks on the track from the start. The action hotted up even further in semi-final 2, a race that will go down in the pages of RX history. It was Matias Ekstrom and Topi Heikkinen driving the EKS Audis on home soil who scored a 1-2 in the final.
Go hard or go home.
Round 3 in Belgium and the roller coaster ride on the first corner provided the action. But the move that mattered came at the other end of the track. Solberg, Loeb and Ekstrom were locked in a three-way fight for the win, but it was Ekstrom who held on and made it 2-2. 3 down and Ekstrom and Solberg were locking horns at the top of the table. Last year, Solberg stole the win from Ekstrom at Lydden Hill by the tightest of margins. The Swede was out for revenge and got payback in the final, coming out ahead of Solberg and taking an outstanding 3rd win in a row.
Sometimes heaven can be in hell.
Hell, Norway, and the drivers would need to beat the devil himself. Not that fazed Andreas Backerud, who for the first time ever in World Direct pulled off the perfect weekend, taking a clean sweep in quali, his semi and the team's maiden win, all on his native soil. Holliers was rocking to the beat of 40,000 fans, and it was that man Backerud again who took a well-timed joke-up and finished where it matters come the checkered flag. 6 races down, 6 to go. Trois-Rivières, Canada, kick-started the second half of the season. Timosjanov had been looking great driving for World RX Team Austria all year. He was flying in Canada until he was disqualified for this semi-final move on Topi Heikkinen.
Don't touch him!
Rain moments before the final meant last-minute tyre choices, and come the second corner, we knew what the right decision was. Solberg on slicks was now last, and Hansen, who had replaced Timosjanov at the back of the grid, was a remarkable second. Hansen was looking unstoppable, passing Backerud, and with that taking his and the team's first 2016 victory.
Never give up, never give in.
80,000 plus fans crammed into the packed Loyac circuit in northern France. Sebastian Loeb got tough on home soil, finishing an impressive 3rd, but the day belonged to Swede Johan Kristoffersson. The Volkswagen RX Sweden team put in a shift on Saturday night, and come the start of qualifying 3 on Sunday, he was unstoppable all the way to the final checkered flag. Having failed to reach the last 2 finals, Ekstrom had slipped to 2nd place, now 5 points behind Solberg in the championship as RX hit Barcelona. But the tables were to turn again. Solberg took a knock from Robin Larsen in the semi, and Ekstrom made the most of Solberg's misfortune, taking his 4th win of the year and putting himself back on top of the championship by 10 points. Kevin Hansen was also victorious in Spain. He made it 4 wins in 4 events to seal the European Supercar Championship title at his first attempt. An amazing achievement for the young 18-year-old who has a big future in front of him and an even bigger legacy to continue.
New horizons, new challenges.
Latvia and hearts ruled heads in Q2. The boys at the top came to blows. The officials disqualified Solberg and temperatures rose to boiling point with Solberg threatening to walk away. A crash in Q3 compounded the issue for the reigning champion, and he knew exactly what it all meant.
The World Championship and everything is finished.
To add to the pain, Ekstrom claimed 2nd behind an amazing debut win for Loeb. The French legend had earned his RX win in some style. Matias Ekstrom came to Estering with a massive 27-point lead over Johan Kristoffersson. If he could extend it by an extra 3, he would leave as champion. Come the final, all eyes were on Ekstrom. Then from round the outside on arguably the toughest first corner in motorsport, Kevin Eriksson pulled off the move of the season to take the lead. Meanwhile, a puncture for Kristoffersson and a 2nd place for Solberg meant that Ekstrom became the 2016 FIA World Rallycross champion. A worthy champion in the most competitive season ever.
Build a team, achieve a dream.
2 cars in the final here in Argentina. We can confirm that you are the team's champions as well. What does that do to your mindset before you launch into this final?
It's just a great feeling. I mean, as a driver it was nice, but also for the team it's amazing. To do the last race of the year with no pressure whatsoever, only going here and having some fun, I really will enjoy it.
And also you got Timo alongside you, so it's like the old days.
Yeah, there are loads of friends here. I mean, I have Timo and Topi, and then Robin, so there's a lot of, I mean, a final with 3 Audis is quite, I think it's the first time. And but in front of us we have 2 guys fighting for the vice champion, so I have pretty good position to watch what will come up here, and if I have a chance I will give them a run for the money as well. Would be nice to end with the podium.
Excellent, thanks Matias, good luck.
Cheers.
Well, Matias, I'm sure, would like to end with the podium. He might be able to end up on that podium, of course, with Topi Heikkinen, which would be handy for us because we can give them both trophies in one go. Hal Ridge is down the pre-grid, and he has got with him Johan Kristoffersson, who is fighting for P2 in this championship. Let's have a word with Johan.
Johan, there's a lot at stake for you in this final. You could be 2nd, 3rd or 4th come the end of it in the championship. What's your plan?
My plan is to be as quick as possible. And I mean, we will see. I mean, we've been fighting the whole year, and everything is end up now. So, but I mean, I will do my best. I think if I'm P1 or P2 in the race, I will be P2 in the championship. So, I mean, it's a lot to fight for, but this is the moment where you really have to enjoy.
I know it's not winning the championship, which everybody wants, but is 2nd a really big dream for you?
No, that's P1, baby.
Thanks, Johan. Good luck.
Great stuff from Johan. P1, baby, is the dream. So he knows that. P2's still cool, though, isn't it? You know, you want bragging rights over the other guys, don't you?
It's all, you always have to push for the win, and then you know, aim high. And if you do get 2nd and take 2nd in the championship, okay. But you know, he's just has to focus on his start. He's going to be lined up, you know, right next to Bakkerud, which they've both had amazing starts all weekend. So that first chicane in the gravel will be very telling.
It's going to be key, isn't it, to the result here? If you noticed a tweet at the bottom there from Audi Sport, well, we'd like to send our congratulations to you, Audi, for winning the team's championship with Matias Ekstrom. Well done to you all. So fantastic to have you along for the ride this year. Well, we're along for a ride with Andreas Bakkerud on his tyre warm. Hard to see there, wasn't it? Whether he had the revs or not. We just lost sound as he headed to the grid, but he doesn't look uncomfortable. He's not frantically adjusting things on the steering wheel. Monster Energy Girls down on the grid for the last time. Kristoffersson, we heard the bang there from the anti-lag all the way over here in commentary. They've got the best anti-lag. All anti-lag must be loud and aggressive. It should be in the regulations. I'll have a word with the FIA. Scheider looking for the team's best result. As I say, Nitish was P5 in France. So if he could get any better than that, it would be job well done by Scheider. Larson, last year's winner. Can he do it again? You can't bet against him, Tanner, with what's been happening in turn 1.
No, you really can't. I mean, he's not in a bad spot being in the 3rd row, considering the last 2 semifinals that end up in the grass with cameramen running. But there's, and you also have a little bit of extra confidence knowing that this track is yours right now. He's the current winner from last year, and so he knows that he has a little something here. There's just a little air of confidence there that happens.
I bet his heart rate's up just a little bit, isn't he, with the dream of just one more win here. Of course, would it be another winner this season? We've had 7 so far, 4 wins for Ekstrom, 2 for Bakkerud, 1 for Solberg, 1 Hansen, Kristoffersson, Loeb and Eriksson. So we could have a new winner this season in Heikkinen, Larson and co. We'll see. Here's the lineup for the final, the last race of the 2016 FIA World Rallycross Championship. Andreas Bakkerud on pole with Johan Kristoffersson alongside him, fighting for P2 in the driver's standings. Ekstrom already the champion, and Timo Scheider alongside him, the 2 DTM boys racing down to turn 1 together. And then Robin Larson, last year's winner, and Topi Heikkinen, team's champion, of course, alongside Matias in this one as well. Great result for EKS. Here we go, thumbs up from the marshals. The man in the middle heading down the grid, just checking that everybody's good to go. He's going to give a signal to the rest of the guys who will walk off the grid for the final time this year. Look for the ready to race lights. This is it, just 6 more laps to go. Anti-lag on, we're on the limiters for the final time. Green light and away, great start. Robin Larsson on the back row, but equal between Kristoffersson and Backerud on the way down to turn 1. Ekstrom's going to try and go up the inside of Kristoffersson. Kristoffersson's going to try and shut the door. Hakkinen around the outside, got to try and avoid his teammate. They don't want contact in turn 1. Is anybody going to be silly here? Scheider is in the side of Hakkinen, but he comes through. Ekstrom's going to drift it around the outside, and he's going to try and come out alongside Scheider. Those boys are going to drag it out down to the straight. Scheider has to give best. He drops in on the brakes, right up behind his DTM rival. It's Backerud from Kristoffersson and Hakkinen.
Kristoffersson did an amazing job of filling the gap there. There was enough room for a car. He waited. I didn't know what he was waiting for, but he did slot to the inside and took the second position. He really needs to just keep up with Backerud now.
Scheider and Larsson both into the Joker, and Larsson there, I suspect, would have liked to have gone in there on his own to try and get a bit of clean space, so he's going to have to put a move on Scheider if he wants to try and take the win here, but I think this is going to be about Backerud and Kristoffersson about front. Monster Energy Supercharge award for Andreas Backerud. He'll be pleased about that as a Monster athlete for being the first driver into turn 1. He'll be very much more pleased if he can beat Kristoffersson. We've done some maths, and we actually think that if Backerud wins with Kristoffersson second, Kristoffersson will take P2 in the Drivers' Championship.
By a single point.
Yeah.
By a single point. But, you know, it's not there yet. He's getting a huge amount of pressure from behind here. He's really watching his mirrors, you can see.
Ekstrom into the Joker lap in the background. Scheider's coming around now, so I think Ekstrom will get out in front. But Scheider's going well here in the Seat. He really is. New Lincoln Munich Motorsport Seat Ibiza, new this season. Very, very cool looking car. Goes through the dust up onto the banking. But it's all about Backerud. Fastest lap of the day, 36.4. Tanner, he's absolutely killing it.
Sometimes Backerud just switches it on, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And you see it, and it just happens. So the track is in prime condition right now. You can see little patches of grip poking through, and you can see the drivers placing tires on every single bit of grip they can find. And Backerud just absolutely on it. That Ford is just working.
Absolutely great job by him. What a shame we're not seeing Solberg in this final as well, to see that fight between them as they sweep through back onto the banking. Toppy Hakkinen in P3 is just quietly going about his business. The top 3 haven't jokered. Graphic top left tells you that. Remember, 1 joker in every lap in the World Rallycross Championship on board with Backerud.
The spotters are constantly looking to see if the car behind them is gaining or losing to plan that joker strategy the best they possibly can. But in reality, I mean, the top 3 guys could take it to the very last lap.
They could indeed. You suspect they'll want to split the strategy, don't you, just in case somebody has a problem. There we go. Toppy Hakkinen loose on the brakes again. Everybody's pushing so hard. Toppy would love to come out in front of the team boss, Matias Ekstrom. Can he do it? Ekstrom won't hit him, that I'm sure of. He goes all the way around the outside. Ekstrom's going brave up the banking. Full throttle. Toppy on the inside. Oh, my goodness me. Almost contact between them. Good job by Toppy as well. Brave by both these guys racing out the final round of the year. Ekstrom will want to get back past Toppy. Either way, these guys are picking up trophies at the end of the day. Just don't drive into each other. Nobody wants to repair those cars when you're picking up trophies. Ekstrom's all over him, but he's all over the track as well, and he drops a place now to Scheider.
Oh my goodness, and you know, you could almost hear the thought from Ekstrom, like, wait a minute, I'm the one that's going to be paying for these cars if we crash them, and then he's off the outside of the track. Puts a nice little breathing room between the 2 Audis.
On to the final lap of the 2016 season, and those guys duking it out for P2 are out in P1 and P2 in this last final. There is Backerud coming up to the right-hander. Both of them have got to joke up, so I think this is going to be about whether either of them makes a mistake. We think that Kristoffersson will take P2 in the championship. This is all about getting that final win of the year. Backerud has 2 already. Can he get 3? Into the joker lap for the last time. The focus flicks to the left. It flicks to the right. Backerud fires up the 600 horsepower, and he takes the final checker flag of 2016. Andreas Backerud, his 3rd win, pitches the car into donuts on the banking, seen by us here in the commentary position. Brilliant job by Backerud. The number 13 proves absolutely lucky for him again. 3 wins this season for Andreas Backerud, signs off the end of the year, and there you go. Johan Kristoffersson, just as we expected, has taken P2 in the Drivers' Series. And although he said it didn't mean as much as P1, I would suspect from the look on his dad's face there, it does.
It's amazing. 2nd position in the championship. Is it really 1 point between position 2, 3, and 4?
Crazy,
in the championship.
Close.
Unbelievably close. What a battle right back to the last lap. Just incredible.
Can't help but feel sorry for Solberg as well, because I think he had, I think he would have had the win here and P2 in the championship. So he will be disappointed, but I think it'll fire him up over the winter. But great job, Backerud, with the win.
Yeah, really incredible. Solberg ties points with Backerud, but loses because he has a fewer number of wins. Kristoffersson comes in 1 point ahead. you can see tears in his eyes right there. I mean, he knows he didn't get second, but a win is a win, and it's the most unbelievable feeling in the world.
There you go, Tanner Faust said, and he knows because he's won a round of the World Rallycross Championship. A pleasure to have you here this weekend, Tanner. Thank you for your input. There's Bakker and a few celebratory donuts. We're going to head across, though, and have a chat with Tommy Kristoffersen, Johan Kristoffersen's dad.
Tommy, we can see how proud and an emotional a moment it is that Johan is confirmed as second in the championship. What's going through your mind right now?
It's all the work that's been done from the guys all through the whole year, all the fighting, all the good guys doing all the work day and night to prepare this and to all time give you on the best car. So big thanks to Volkswagen Bauhaus who believe in us all the time, and also the team behind us with Markland and Volkswagen RX. So I'm so proud of the team. I'm so proud of Johan and the way that we do it, fighting to the bitter end. So it's great to take the silver medal.
Considering how busy a season he's had as well, it's incredible that he's got this far and he could be champion next year.
It's tough, but we are pushing all the time, and now it's a little bit of a silly season, but for sure this place on this work, what he have put in this year, made it easier for us to find a good seat for next year. So we are fighting for that as well. So, but now we have to enjoy ourselves tonight at least.
Congratulations, enjoy it.
Thank you so much.
There's Tommy Kristoffersen, really, really pleased with Johan Kristoffersen's P2. It was Bakker who took the win. Kristoffersen in second, takes second in the driver's standings. Topi Heikkinen takes a podium for EKS as they win the team's title, as well, of course, as Matias Ekstrom's driver's title down in P5. Scheider does indeed get the best result for the South Ibiza this year with a P4, and Larsen, last year's winner, couldn't repeat it, but great to see him in the final in 6th. So there's another look then at the start. This is on board with Ekstrom, Tanner, on the way down towards turn 1.
Much tidier than either of the semifinals, as everybody had seen the carnage. I mean, they're coming into the braking zone right now. Nobody's making a desperate move on the outside, although it looks like Topi did get a little bit of action going on the outside. But the first 3 cars get away clean. A little bit of a battle going on there down the back straightaway.
With Scheider, him and proper DTM drivers in Rallycross having a go. Great stuff. Great stuff. There's another look, different angle, and you can see it was Scheider and Ekstrom look, and Larsen at the back. Look at this. Ekstrom so close to the tyres on the inside, Scheider on the grass on the outside. Great bit of racing, and I think fair enough.
I mean, sometimes the carnage is fun to watch, but side-by-side racing, there's nothing like it.
That's what you want to see. That's what we want to see. We don't want the carnage, do we? We just want to see great racing. This was also fantastic.
It really was. I mean, you've got teammates. You know, there's nothing to win here except pride, and you could see that was everything.
Yeah, it meant a lot to Topi, didn't it? He just wanted to take one off the boss.
It sure did.
There was Hockenheim earlier this year where Ekstrom got Topi to take the win, and look at Bakker there pitching the car. Bakker in tears in the car as well, and this was a development year for the Ford Focus RS-RX, and Bakker's taken 3 wins. Yeah, those guys have done an absolutely brilliant job.
Yeah, the Argentinian tourism board really happy about how he centered the donuts right on the Rosario.
There must have been a backhander there for Bakker somehow, mustn't there? There it is, parked up along the number 1 in the holding area at the end of the race, out of the car to greet the engineers. Brilliant job, Andreas Bakker. Andreas Bakker takes his 3rd win of the 2016 season. Very emotional about it in the car. Now straight onto the social media because he's a good soldier like that. But it was a great drive.
Yeah, it really was, you know, and I think I predicted him.
You did
earlier this winter, didn't I?
Yes,
Wait, what do I win?
Five.
What do I win?
I think you win. You get to buy the first round tonight.
Oh, good. I was afraid of that.
Ooh,
oh, look at Ekstrom. Okay, he's happy that they didn't bend both cars there, but he's not happy with himself for driving off the outside. But what a weekend for him. He celebrated the championship and the team championship.
And this is the first time anybody's won both, because of course Solberg has been the champion of the drivers, and Ford won the team's title first year with Ford MSC. Then it was Peugeot Hansen, and now of course it's EKS and Audi with Matias. So yeah, it's a good way to sign off, isn't it? He will be annoyed, but I think his mistake at the far end of the circuit there where he ran it. Oh, there we go. That's the Ekstrom we're used to seeing. I thought he was a bit cross when we first came to his onboard, but
Kristoffersen, a dream last 15 minutes.
Yeah, good job.
I mean, the gates opened for him, and he successfully walked through. So there's really nothing like sitting on the starting grid, knowing the pressure you have, knowing that you're just waiting for the lights, and that a 1/10 of a second can be the difference between everything on your reaction time.
Interesting as well, Kristoffersson was P3 in the Drivers' Series last year. This year he gets P2. Backerud last year was P4. This year he gets P3. So those guys making progress, one step at a time. And next year I wouldn't bet against either of those guys headed for the top step of the podium. Meant a lot to Tommy as well. It was a hell of a rallycross driver himself.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about the paddock for next year. The competition level is so high, and it's just keeps on getting higher. A lot of talk about more manufacturers, more teams, everybody scheming to get the advantage for next year. It's really a great thing.
Yeah, it is really, really exciting. Exciting times for a fantastic sport, Tanner. I mean, you've been involved in rallycross for a long time, coming across to Europe a number of years ago, and and first taking part over here. What was the attraction?
I saw a video of Marcus Grönholm in Sweden racing, and I said, whatever that is, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And they didn't have, we didn't have rallycross in the States. That was in 2008, and then so in 2009 I did my first race, and first full championship in 2011, and it was I battled it out with a lot of the guys that are on the track still. Some of the names have moved on, some own teams, but a lot of the drivers like Tim Mijano I was racing with, from 2010, 2011.
I hope we'll see you racing with them again in future, of course, winning that fantastic wet event in Kuvla. That was a proper wet. That was a bit almost as wet as yesterday, I would suggest, wasn't it? Finland in 14. But yeah, good to have you here, Tanner, and we'll hope to see a little bit more of you on the other side of the pictures. I know you like commentary, but you prefer to drive. So
well, thank you.
No worries. Well, the season is done and dusted. The cars are in the holding area, the Parc Fermé, for the final time this year. And we're going to go and have a chat with our last winner of the season, Andreas Backerud, who's down there now with Neil Cole.
Andreas Backerud, it was like an emotional roller coaster down here because you weren't sure where you were in the championship, the elation of the race win. We can confirm you won the race and you are third in the championship.
To be honest, the guys on the radio told me that congrats with the win, and we didn't get top 3 in the championship, and no, the guys confirmed it, so I'm very emotional. And I've had so many people supporting me on the route. It's really, really emotional, and I just I'm very proud of myself and the people that have supported me. And that KB called me last year together with Hoonigan Racing Division and Ford Performance, built a great car together with M Sport, and just thank you to all our partners that does it possible. It was a very hard race because we know what was on the line. As a Norwegian, I must say it's hard to get beaten by 2 Swedish.
Congrats. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Well, you can see what that means to Backerud. Really, really emotional. Matias Ekstrom is the World Rallycross champion, but that final race, these final 3 races, saw Solberg drop from P2, and I think it would have been a sure win in P2 for him, gutting for him. But Kristoffersson taking second place, takes second in the championship. And if you're wondering why Backerud beat Solberg when they're on equal points, is because, of course, he did have 2 wins. He's now got 3, and Solberg has only won once this season. So it means an awful lot to him. Congratulations to our podium finishers in the championship this year. Matias Ekstrom, I think, is down with Neil Cole now. Still down running around collecting drivers for us. Let's have a chat.
Matias, it was nice to see you congratulating Andreas there, because you've seen it, how hard he works to get where he is. But let's talk about you, double champions now in 2016. How does that feel? Did you believe it was possible?
I mean, we always dreamt of it, but it's in this competition it's not so easy to believe it will happen. So big picture, fantastic result. Also to end the season with a good result for Topi. He was driving very good in the final. We had a close battle, but he ended up front. So no, I must say for me the season has been fantastic as a driver, as a team owner, and I'm very proud of the whole team what we achieved. And in 3 years to start with a white sheet, to build a team, build our own car, and then go and win both titles in the 3rd year is fantastic.
Well, there's going to be celebrations. You better get involved. Thank you, Matias.
Thanks. Woo!
Backerud jumping up and down with the Argentinian fans who absolutely love this sport. Been a great host country for the last 3 seasons. Thank you for having us, Argentina, San Luis, and of course Rosario. Podium is ready to receive the drivers. These are the team standings, though, after round 12. So EKS RX, the champions of the team standings. Brilliant job by them to take both of the championships. Team Peugeot Hansen are second. Volkswagen RX Sweden managed to hold on to third, edging out Hoonigan Racing Division. Then it's World RX Team Austria, Holzberg's MSC, and Allinkle.com Munich Motorsport. Well, good job by Timo Scheider, I think, to take that final P4 position here in Argentina. As we see an Audi flag down there, and that is for Matias Ekstrom. If you're wondering why he's up there on the podium, it's because they're about to hand him the trophy which he's dreamed of winning for a very long time. Tanner, he said he always wanted to go to an FIA Awards, and he gets to go one. What a good job, eh?
Yeah, I mean, the sacrifices that a driver and everybody on the team makes, traveling so many days of the year, putting absolutely everything into your craft, and it's to come out holding the hardware and getting the payoff. It's an incredible relief. I mean, he's going to be partying pretty hard tonight, I think.
Yeah, a world champion too, world champion. It's a fantastic achievement, and the team's championship, which we're going to see them given in a minute. But the team has his name. You know, he built it. I think it was 857 days. They said from when the team had nothing, zero, nada, until they won the team champion. And there's Topi Heikkinen getting up the top with him as well. So they're going to hand them the team's trophy as well. You know, it's just a great story, isn't it, for Ekstrom in particular.
It really is. I mean, it's a battle. I mean, the number of people that come to each event. I mean, even here where they're not bringing their own rigs, they're literally shipping everything on boats and flying things on planes. There's still dozens of people per team. I mean, it's such a group effort to get these cars holding together, holding all this power and holding all of this speed together week in and week out. So it really is a great testament.
And the contact as well, occasionally.
Okay, the occasional contact. And I mean, we're in the 50th year, so the cars have evolved so much, and it's incredible how fast the pace of evolution is still going. It's not like we found a good formula and everybody's settled. No. I mean, every single year people are coming out with new cars, new innovations, new speed.
Just a tenth here and a tenth there, isn't it? You know, it's the marginal gains thing of all the tiny little marginal gains make up half a second. Suddenly you're smashing it. And of course, that's what Ekstrom did at the start of the year when he took 3 wins in a row, Hockenheim, Belgium and the UK. And that set him up and probably set up Audi as well to say, do you know what, we can win a world title here. And he's rewarded them not just with the Drivers' Championship, of course, which was a very personal thing. But you know, Audi have now got a world championship with the EKS team. So great stuff.
Yeah, and I think you know, Matias brought a kind of a new perspective to Rallycross. And I really kind of consider the Rallycross to have changed somewhere around 2012 or so. And since then, Matias has brought a road racing and all of his DTM experience and rally racing experience and other team experience to this sport. And you see that from Loeb, and you see it from other drivers from other disciplines, really bringing their knowledge to Rallycross and obviously doing it successfully.
Great to see. Big reward for all the big effort that was put in. Tanner Faust, thanks so much for being with us this weekend. Have you enjoyed it? I know you prefer racing, yeah?
You know, I've looked inside some of the cars.
Yeah. You've done some other jobs for us.
Oh, yeah.
Fixed the air conditioning. You've done some camera work. We've had
a chair.
Yeah, you broke a chair.
Yeah, I did some camera work. That's right. No, it's been a great weekend. Thank you so much for having me out. It's really been a lot of fun.
Thank you for coming. Andreas Backrud on the top step of the podium. There it is. A final win for him. A third win. The win tally this year, it was 4 to Ekstrom, 3 to Backrud, 1 for Solberg, Hansen, Kristoffersson, Loeb and Eriksson. 7 winners compared to 8 in 2015. Johan Kristoffersson, P2. And that, of course, was enough to him to take P2 in the drivers' standings. Fantastic job by him. And P3 to Topi Heikkinen, so he gets up on the podium as well, having helped Matias and helped him well this weekend in securing that title for EKS RX.
La entrega Diego Mayo, director de Seguridad Deportiva del Gobierno de la Provincia de Santa Fe.
Little chat from those guys up there. Good to see the fans have been released down into the area of the podium. Champagne for the drivers. Andreas with the standard move. 5 apparently. Was it 2 in Europe, 3 in Holland, is it, I think, but 5 in Argentina?
I think it double it in Argentina, yeah. South of the equator, something like that.
Champagne for the final time. We're going to have a look back at some of the best moments from a fantastic season. My thanks to everybody who's involved in the TV and the organisation side. It's been a wonderful, wonderful season of World Rallycross. My name's Andrew Coley. Thanks to all the co-commentators. all the pit reporters, everybody in the truck, all the guys from IMG. Tanner, what a season, eh?
I mean, the action is amazing when you watch it. When you watch it back and you see all the beautiful slow motion shots from all the different tracks, the variety in the championship, the variety in the cars and drivers, and then you see how it all comes together with such an action-packed show. It really is a great sport. I really feel very happy and lucky to be involved in this sport.
Well, we very, very much hope to see Tanner Faust back where he belongs, in a car competing in the World Rallycross Championship. Look forward to that next season. I say brilliant action all year long, and luckily this time you haven't got quite so long to wait, because we'll be starting the 2017 season in Barcelona in April, so just 4 months. It does feel a bit too long, doesn't it, for you hardcore rallycross fans out there? But we really sincerely hope that you have enjoyed watching this championship as much as we have enjoyed bringing it to you. That's it for 2016. Other than a few beers, we'll see you next year.
En vivo del evento y todo el material de prensa difundido por todo el mundo de esta, una de las categorías más espectaculares del automovilismo internacional. El último campeonato del mundo que quedaba por definirse dentro de los 5 que tiene la Federación Internacional del Automóvil era el de equipos en el Mundial de Rallycross, que ha quedado para la escuadra EKS